Today we're playing Chips mode, but I wanted to try out a tower that I think got a very surprising buff and it kind of flew under people's radars because I don't see too many people talking about this, and we're gonna figure out how good and how impactful this buff is. And no, it's not the boomerang that I have here. I just have this guy because he defends these arenas by himself. So the tower in question is going to be the recursive cluster. Now this thing got a very surprise, at least it was a surprising buff to me. Let me just remove this thing, by the way, just to kind of make space. And this was a very surprising buff to me because this thing now, if you guys have read the patch notes, the changelog wasn't that big in the previous update. I mean, only a handful of towers got changed, and honestly, in the entirety of the game, nothing got changed that significantly, so that I guess the meta or the towers have been significantly altered in terms of what is good and what is not. But this was a very interesting change, and let me first off read it to you guys. So first off, the recursive cluster, that is the 004 cluster, the tower itself, does less damage to fortified balloons. It went from 1 to 0, so no bonus damage to fortified balloons, but the overall damage got increased from 1 to 2. So what this means is that, oh, first off, let me just buy one of these guys. And let's make sure, because I want to have two of these guys. So for example, if I have one of them like this, is that gonna leave enough space to place one more over here? I hope so. And as I was saying, the tower now does extra damage to normal balloons, so it just got a flat out +1 damage. And I think that that's very good, especially for the middle path, which is the underused cross path. So people would usually do the 204, which is the preferred cross path, but the middle one is the one that wasn't getting a lot of love from people, and you can kind of understand why. But now, because the tower does overall +1 damage, that means that the extra attack speed that we get from the faster reload and from the missile launcher means that this middle cross path is actually a little bit better than it used to be. Okay, so I think it's time to get Striker Jones. I'm not sure where I want to get him because I do want to have both of these guys, both of my clusters inside of his range, because they're gonna get extra pierce and extra range. I know that this isn't the best spot, and our towers are gonna be clumped up right here, but I don't think that we have any choice, because I do want to have these clusters inside of the range of Striker Jones, because he does give them extra pierce, and that is the thing that these guys are lacking. So if you guys know how it works, the dynamic between the 204 and the 024, the top path, the bigger bombs and the heavy bombs give extra pierce and extra damage, and that extra pierce and damage gets translated into the secondary and the tertiary clusters, and the middle path just gives attack speed, and that's about it. So that's why people usually go for the 204, but now we got the +1 damage, maybe with all the extra attack speed and this +1 damage plus alchemists, it actually might be a cool choice. And let me buy the middle path. Finally, this thing adds range and attack speed. That's basically it. That's all the things that it gets, but it's kind of nice so that we can cover this entire area, although there is a little bit of vision getting blocked by this. So maybe, can I fit the I think I saw it. Yeah, there we go. So the second one, is it gonna have some better vision than the first one? That's the question. I think it is. But yeah, one of the benefits of this cluster is that it just doesn't care about just long and big lines of balloons, just clumped up balloons. I mean, it depends on the crosspath that you're getting, obviously, because once there are a lot more balloons incoming, let me just buy the cluster now. And once there are a lot more balloons incoming, of course, you know, you're gonna need a lot more pierce, but that's why you got Striker Jones, and then we're gonna probably try and kind of fix the problem with a village or something like that, like an alchemist, although, you know, there's a huge difference between the 204 and this thing, but I do want to try it out. Like, I do want to give this thing a chance. So let me get a village. It's finally time to get a village, guys, so let's not rely on the sniper for the camo. Okay, so before round 40, I got the village, but then I remembered that there are no camo balloons up until 42, so the village was kind of a mistake, but I think that that's fine because we can still do this. We can get an alchemist, and this guy's gonna have to be a 401 because there are a lot of towers in its range, and I think that this is gonna be fine. So basically this mob is gonna be on this guy, onto the 024, which does attacks a lot faster, so I feel like we're gonna be fine. I'm gonna use the Striker Jones ability now for the ceramics, and boom, there we go. That's very good. And also, we don't care about black balloons nor zebras, at least not as much. So one of the changes that also happened in this latest update is that the frags no longer change the attack type. So if you had, let me just show you guys, if you had this upgrade, the frags, this would change the attack type of the bomb itself, and it would be able to pop black balloons to zebras, but it no longer does. So you're gonna need Striker Jones. Striker Jones's value kind of went up now. Let me get this thing, and I feel like, what else are we doing? I mean, am I just kind of trying to stabilize this thing with just buying the alchemist, just getting the secondary cluster going, or what's the deal now? I think I should probably get the stronger simulant, so let me just buy a 401 alchemist first. And its first challenge, actually no, what am I talking about? These are 45 balloons, so the old one would have done extra damage to these guys, but 47 has normal ceramics, so that's when we see what the new changes are gonna do. Although to be fair, like this is just normal ceramics. So I feel like the actual problems for these towers are gonna start appearing in free play, because I don't think that if we buy 2 of these guys, they're gonna struggle particularly versus anything before free play starts. But let's just finish our setup. So let me buy the second cluster. This is gonna be this guy 2024, and these 2 guys are gonna be the main DPS, or at least we're gonna try and have them as the main DPS. I want to buy overclocks and stuff, and I really want to try and beat this entire thing with only these 2 guys, and obviously a bunch of support for them. So the 320 village is gonna be the last thing that I do for these guys, and look at their range. The range is huge. They attack very fast. They don't have that much pierce, but you know what? That's kind of part of this challenge. So let's see how this thing goes. I want to tell you guys though what I was doing these past 2 days. I was actually trying to record a video, and I was trying to figure out a strategy for not just one but for as many as possible boss balloons on Blondes. That's what I was doing. I was trying to beat Dread Balloon, and I tried to beat Phase, and I was doing not the normal versions. I was trying to beat the elite ones, and it's very hard. So beating a boss on like a map like Blondes, and you know what happens? There's this thing that happens on Blondes, and I'm not sure if Ninja Q made it on purpose like this, but the spawn point for all bosses is not the start of the track. It's a little bit towards the middle of the track where all of the boss balloons spawn on Blondes. So I feel like unless you're playing Vortex, like I'm not sure how many of these other bosses. I mean, I guess Phase is possible because they saw someone beat it somehow, although I didn't see how they beat these early rounds. And I assume the Vortex is possible, but because Vortex gets knocked back. But besides Vortex, there's so little time just to do anything. So I was able to get to tier 5 on the elite Dread Balloon, and I beat like 1 skull of it, I think, and that's about it. And I know that I can do a little bit better than that, than just beating 1 skull if I just optimize my farming and stuff like that. But getting to that point was very, very interesting. It was a very fun run in general, because you have to do like these spike storms and stuff like that. And there are some small things, like for example, if you use, you know, the first strike from the sub, and then the rocket gets launched onto the rock balloons and not onto the boss itself, because the targeting is set to strong, and then these rock balloons attract everything that's set on strong. Oh, by the way, BFV. Do I want to do anything about this thing? No, I'm just gonna let these guys attack. And so yeah, it's been a very fun few days of me just trying to beat these boss balloons on Blondes. And I feel like an elite one is definitely possible. I don't know which one. I do want to figure out a way of beating an elite boss on these shorter maps, like for example Workshop. So maybe I'm gonna attempt, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna try and do Phase on Workshop, because I feel like the bosses are gonna come out from the short track, right, and not the long one. Oh, by the way, 63, let's see how we do. So this is going to be a Pierce test. Oh, let's see how we do. Well, we have 2 of them, so it's not exactly going to be a Pierce test, because 2 of them is going to be more than enough Pierce. So let's just see how it goes versus this one. Yeah, I mean, this is as you would expect, definitely, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're just demolishing this round. So let me actually start getting ready for some other stuff. So for example, I did want to get 2 overclocks for these guys. So let me buy the first one here. Let me get the second one over here. And now that we have 2 overclocks, I feel like this setup is going to take off, not just because of the overclocks, but it's just because a lot of other stuff are going to start coming together. So for example, we still have not seen the best from Striker Jones, because this guy is going to add an additional 10% attack speed for these guys. And then on level 20, you can activate Striker Jones's level 10 ability, which is going to turn into a new ability that now gives double damage and double pierce. Now, because this thing has extra damage, that means that, you know, the +1 damage that it got, that means that it's going to do 4 damage. I think it's at 2 currently. And something else that I wanted to do is I wanted to try and beat Gear, the advanced map, with Corvus, because the Spirit is global. I don't know, there's so many cool things that you can do with that hero, because the Spirit has no range. So for example, it's not only geared, you can also, oh, let me just work all these guys. Let's just watch 76 for a second. Oh my god, nothing to watch, guys. That's fine. I'm just gonna keep talking about this other thing. But yeah, I wanted to try Corvus on Erosion, which is a map that I actually beat on Chimps mode. I recorded a video on it, but that was as soon as the map came out, and I did it in a challenge because I still didn't have Chimps mode unlocked, and I wanted to get the video out, but I still haven't actually done it. I still don't have the medal, so maybe we can do some new strategy with it. I was actually thinking, and I saw this person on Reddit post how much of an easier time they had playing BTD6 by just using Corvus as their hero. That was very surprising. And it was something like, I don't know, they were saying like, I'm struggling on Dark Castle Chimps, but when I discovered Corvus, like this guy soloing all these single lane tracks with very little support, and they wrote a strategy. And so they wrote something like they would go like for the bottom path Beast Hunter for the bird, and then they would just, I don't know, just play around Corvus, get the support stuff, and that would just clean out all of these difficult maps, because you know, people usually say that Geared should probably not be an advanced map, and maybe even Erosion for that matter. But yeah, Geared definitely might be like an easier expert map. At least it's more difficult, I would say, than Dark Castle or what. It's like what's the easiest expert map that you know besides Dark Castle? Maybe like Glacial Trail, the new one. Let me remove this thing, and I do want to get the ice, but let me just not mess up the ice placement, because you can have 2 small footprint towers here like this. So let me just do it like this. Just get a 240 ice, so all these ceramics and small balloons that are gonna enter this are basically gonna get stunned, and we're gonna have the ability to intervene. But an advantage that these guys have is that because they attack faster, they actually do a lot more damage to Moab class balloons, which is something that the 204 doesn't do. Oh, let's just see how we do. Oh yeah, there we go. So I thought that they were gonna leak, actually. I thought that it was on its way out for sure, but we kind of got it. So this is where the actual challenge starts for these 0 to 4 clusters, and basically for us. So let me overclock these guys. I really do want to get a call to arms, and then maybe just the usual support stuff. So the first thing that I want to do is probably going to be this, or at least not now. You know what, let's actually wait for the round to which these guys are going to struggle, and then we're going to buy the Relentless Glue. So we have $40,000, and let me buy the call to arms, and let me not actually wait to buy the call to arms, because we might need the cooldown, and then you know, if the time comes and we don't have the cooldown, then it's gonna get interesting. But let me have that thing going just in case. And then what else do we want to buy? I said that I wanted to buy the Relentless, but we're not gonna touch that. We can also get the Sabo, but for now these guys are doing very well by themselves, it seems like. Okay, 4 ZOMGs. Let's see if this is going to be a challenge for our guys. Let me overclock them, and I'm just going to keep using Striker Jones' ability. Let me just check his level, by the way, 18. Okay, so we got the 10% extra attack speed. That's very good. So these guys are attacking like crazy. But let's see how we're going to do. I think I'm just going to freeze them for a second. And that should be, yeah, that should be fine. That should be more than enough. There we go. So a little bit of stuns, that's all these guys need. You just want to keep the balloons in place for a brief second. And I'm going to get the absolute zero. Now that I said that you need to keep the balloons in place for a second, I'm going to get the absolute zero, because this thing now can attack Moab class balloons, and with its normal auto attack, it slows the balloons down basically by 20%, I think the number was. So it's like a mini glue, this absolute zero, and we still haven't gotten the Relentless, by the way, the actual Moab glue. But yeah, this is like a mini glue, and we do have the ability, which is a lot stronger, and I really like this ability. And the first DDTs, so Striker Jones's level 19 is very important for this one, because it makes all black balloons vulnerable to explosive damage, and this applies to DDTs as well. So we are going to have these clusters be a little bit stronger, but how strong is it? I don't know. So that was just 3 DDTs. Rounds like 93, which has a lot more DDTs, are going to be more interesting, and then 95 and 99 obviously. But I'm kind of waiting for level 20 on Striker Jones with the artillery command, because this is going to be our activatable ability, which gives double damage and double, what it means by saying double pumps, it means just double pierce. So it's double damage and double pierce with this thing. And let me just keep overclocking these guys, and yeah, we're gonna have another button to click, which is very interesting. I really love these things when you have a lot of things to play with, which kind of allows you to control your fate in a way. So if you can micro your way out, if you use the abilities properly, then you're gonna be fine. Okay, so 93, we got level 20 Striker Jones, and we can use the artillery command now, but DDTs. So let's see how we do versus these guys. I'm not gonna click anything, I just want to see how we do versus them, and it looks like, oh my god, this Relentless Glue is so good. I have no idea how they haven't nerfed, like when this thing came out, when this specific upgrade got reworked, because it didn't used to work like this, but when it got reworked, it was actually bugged. If you guys remember, it was able to stun BFBs and ZOMGs, and the idea was that it can only stun Moabs and DDTs, but what I'm trying to say is that it's still very strong. Like, just the fact that you're stunning small balloons, Moabs, and DDTs means that you're just keeping all of these guys in place. And it's a very cheap tower, so I don't know. I mean, it's a support tower, to be fair. It doesn't do any damage. The pierce is kind of whack. And just look at what's happening on this specific round as well. I'm going to use the stun ability, by the way, the concussive shell. And do I want to do anything else? I mean, I'm just going to keep using the level 3 ability, honestly. Let's see how we're going to do. Oh, I think it's starting to get a little bit dicey with the pierce, because these guys are not popping as I thought they would, but... Actually, never mind. We're fine. We're holding them. Let me just check the pops on them. So 450,000 and 578. So this guy, even though I placed this one second, the fact that he can see more of the track obviously makes him get a lot more pops. And then everyone else is like chilling. But we have a bunch of DDTs. So let's see. Let me do. Do I want to use the call to arms? No, I think I'm gonna chill actually. So let's just chill and let's see if they can beat this round by themselves. And if they leak, then we're gonna start using stuff. Oh, okay, they actually leaked. So I think I'm just gonna use. What do we want to use? I mean, maybe we just do the call to arms. If I do the call to arms though, is it gonna be ready for 96? I think it will. So let me do the call to arms. And let's just watch these guys. I mean, you can't even see them attack because it's just explosions there. But I think that this is more than enough. Oh, the overclock ran out, so let me just reapply that thing. And there goes the DDs on 95. But 99, I want to see those guys because those guys are not going to be taking extra damage. And also, 45 balloons on 96 and 98. Those are going to be fun. So let's keep the stun ability going before these UMGs appear because the stun ability defaults to strong. And I think this is going to be the first time that I actually want to use the artillery command ability. So let's use this thing. And let's just get these guys double damage. The ability is used, by the way, but there's no visual indicator, I don't think. So you can't really... But I'm telling you guys that it's out. But it lasts for a very short amount of time. This thing is one of the shortest abilities, I think. Well, at least when it comes to buffing. I think it lasts for 10 seconds. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. 10 seconds. That's just like 3 seconds if you have fast forward on. That's just not enough time. But for those 3 seconds, I mean, everything on screen is just going to demolish the balloons. So let me just freeze these guys. I use the absolute zero, by the way. Yeah, these guys are making a turn. Are they going to get stopped? Overclocks run out. Let me reapply them quickly. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so these guys might not have enough damage for the bad balloon. Actually, they're probably not going to have enough damage for the bad. So let me buy 2 spike storms. And I just want to buy them now because I want to get the cooldown going just so we don't mess it up. And yeah, let's see how we do versus these guys. So these guys are not going to be taking extra damage, but I do want to keep stunning them. Let me overclock them. And the artillery command's cooldown is very long. So I think I'm just going to do the call to arms. I'm going to keep the stun going. And then I think... I'm gonna chill on the first one, but maybe, you know what? I think that just the stun is gonna be enough. Yeah, just using the concussive shell is gonna be fine. Man, this combo Striker Jones with whatever it is, clusters, mortars. I mean, this guy just takes them to the next level, honestly. But this is gonna be probably the most difficult round, besides round 100, which they're not gonna be able to beat by themselves. But I'm gonna use everything in this round. So I'm gonna wait for these UMGs to come in the middle, and then I'm gonna use everything and then hope for the best, because we're gonna need a lot of pierce. So let's use the stun ability, let's use the artillery command together with the call to arms, and let's just watch these guys go to town. Oh my god, are they gonna pop them? Because they need pierce. Right now, the thing that these guys need is a lot of pierce because there's a lot of balloons on screen, and especially they're releasing a lot of small balloons. But I think that they dealt with the UMGs. So as long as they deal with... Yeah, they have it. Oh my god, they absolutely do have it. Okay, so now I hope that I didn't do a mistake by doing that, because I have all of my abilities on cooldown and we have 45 DDTs. So we have the absolute zero, so I'm gonna stun them first. And then I'm going to use the absolute zero, which we didn't use previously. And then by the time the absolute zero wears off, I think we should have our concussive shell up. Yeah, there we go. Let's use this thing. And there we go. There it is, round 99. Okay, let me just check the pops of these guys. 905,785, so it's about 1.7 million pops, which means that 2 of these guys are very close to doing the 2 mega pops thing. But they're not going to do it because Rocket John has like 200,000. But let me just see if they can beat... They're not going to be able to beat it. I mean, let's be honest. But let me just check the pops on these guys. So it is... Yeah, the pops are not going that fast, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I used both the artillery command and the call to arms, but the pops are just not going that fast. Because these guys are not very good versus mob class balloons. As a tower, I guess the 024 is a little bit better than the 204 versus mob class, just because it attacks faster. But yeah, this is not going to do it versus the bat. But you know what is going to do it versus the bat? 2 spike storms. Let me use it. I bought them specifically for this. So let me use the call to arms. Let me use the artillery command, which just came out of cooldown. And then as soon as the DDTs come out, freeze them with the absolute zero. And then I'm just going to keep these guys in place with the concussive shell. And I think that should be it, right? One more concussive shell. And I mean, these guys are going to town on these balloons. But there we go. We actually did it. We actually... beat round 100, beat Chimps mode by using only 0 to 4 clusters as our main damage source. So I can say that these guys feel a little bit better for sure, because I have tried these guys in the past. It's been a long time since I tried this, I'm gonna be honest, but it does feel like they're a little bit better than they used to be, at least a little bit more reliable, because I guess the advantage that these guys had over the 204 is because they attack super fast, so you have reliability. They're not going to miss their shots, nor they're going to miss balloons. So the reliability is there, but with the extra +1 damage that they got, I mean, it's even better than it used to be. So yeah, 0-4 clusters, maybe making a comeback. I don't know, we're going to have to see how everything goes, but that's going to be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. So the Bomb Blitz tier 5 in BTD6 just got a small nerf, and this comes off the back of, well, huge buffs, especially one happening in the previous update. So what I wanted to do today is, I actually wanted to do something that we haven't done in a very long time. We're going to attempt a 2 million pops with the Bomb Blitz, and we're going to try and get a few activations off on the passive ability. So first things first, we're going to start like this. The Mermonkey actually got a nice buff in this update as well, and now what you can do is you can actually, because the price is cheaper, basically you can do some different starts. So this is one of the new starts, I'm pretty sure, the Mermonkey and the sub. Now let's see if this is actually going to be enough, and then we're going to go through the changes and what the plan is for today. So, oh, this Mermonkey Trident is actually very big, it seems like, because it's sniping multiple balloons. Wait, if I buy the longer range, can we actually see up there? Oh no, we cannot. Okay, that might have been a bad purchase, actually. I mean, look, we're still somehow defending, so I'm going to take it. I'm actually going to place the bomb like this. Let's be a little bit faster. I think this is going to be a good spot. I'm going to have it on strong, so we're focusing down the green balloons, so we don't have any annoying leftovers down here. So let's see how round 9 is going to go, and I think round 10 is actually going to be fine if we survive this one. Yep, there we go, there it is. Alright, so what is the new change with the Bomb Blitz? Well, the cooldown on the passive ability got increased, went from 60 seconds to 75, and an important note is that the initial cooldown on the ability went from 20 to 25 seconds. So basically, if you guys want to use this thing, you're like, I'm going to place this thing, we're going to leak some balloons, just be mindful of the extra 5 seconds that this thing got. Now, why is this tower so good nowadays? Well, I think it just comes off the back of a change that happened in update 51, if you guys remember that thing. Oh my god, this is so close. Is the Mermonkey defending? It barely is. That's ridiculous. But yeah, the change that happened in update 51 was actually really cool, and it goes like this. If the passive ability can destroy the balloon that leaked, then it is not going to take away any lives, which basically meant that the Bomb Blitz tier 5's passive ability can now be used in chimps mode. Actually, according to the tier list, the Bomb Blitz is sitting pretty comfortably in A tier, so this is definitely not a bad tower, especially just, you know, keep in mind that these tier lists are made specifically for expert chimps maps. So if it's, you know, if it works on a true expert chimps map with multiple exits, especially I think due to this Bomb Blitz passive ability activation, then it's obviously going to be good in these other ones. So we're playing an advanced map, obviously we're playing Ancient Portal. Let's see how we're doing versus these pink balloons, and yeah, the second that we see something that's a little bit faster, we start leaking. Alright, so we do have the money for Geraldo. I'm bringing Geraldo because of the rejuve, which is going to be nice in just refreshing the cooldown of the passive ability, because it does work. But let's try and start things off with a cluster. Maybe we get some good explosions, and then maybe the AoE from these explosions is going to be enough to stop these guys, these pink balloons. So let's see how everything is doing. I think this is, yeah, so much better than last time. Let's give it some extra attack speed as well while we're at it. Alright, so a long way to go until we get to the 2 million pops. So let's start things off with Geraldo. We're going to need to submerge the sub, and then we will need to be very careful in where we're placing the alchemist and the other towers. Oh my god, this backline, we're barely defending it, but somehow it seems to be working out. Let's get the intel on the sub. I'm going to have this thing on strong because we're going to have some black balloons, and obviously we're not bringing in Striker Jones, which would have been amazing, but I think we're going for a mid-path village anyway, so this should be fine later down the line. And then what are we doing for the camo detection? How about we drop just this, like a set of root spikes from Geraldo? We could have gone for this. We could have gone for the Echo Sense Precision, but this is a little bit cheaper because it's only 55. Now let's start working on some other stuff. So we're going to need 2 discount villages for sure, so let's start with the first one, get a little bit of discounts going. Let's get the missile launchers, vote for some extra attack speed because it's getting a little bit dicey, I think. And then how about we use Geraldo's camo potion just for these early camos? Obviously we're going to get some camo detection through the villages, but that's going to take a while. So I'm going to go like this bigger radius, and then if my placement is correct in the village on the right, I should be able to fit one more here towards the left side of the bomb, which seems to be the case. So let's go like this. This is a huge investment, by the way. Yeah, this is going to take you back for so much, but if you can manage to pull it off, you're going to save a couple thousand, I guess, by the end of the run, which is always nice. Yeah, Rainbow's super annoying, and then a huge wave of black balloons. So how do we deal versus these guys? The sub is set on strong, by the way, with the intel, so, oh, I think we're leaking still. Yep, we need that MIB village as soon as possible. So how about we just stack a bunch of these old nails and just hope for the best? I mean, I'm going to drop like one more set, and we seem to be holding on for now. And for this one, how about we go for the airburst, because we're going to see a bunch of black balloons sinking from these leads, but also a bunch of zebras behind them, so hopefully the airbursts are going to be fine. We can also drop a glue if things get a little dicey, which I think they might be. Yeah, they're getting a a little bit dicey. Let's drop the glue. That was a great snipe from the Monkey, by the way. I'm not sure if you guys saw that one, but yeah. I know, we should have ran Striker Jones, but this is for the rejuve, basically, and that's the only thing that I care for. So how about we get the cluster now? I think we've got some small Geraldo items in case we need to intervene, but I feel like we need to get the cluster before the Moab around 40. It's also a good time to submerge this thing, I think, as soon as we're done with these rainbows, and then we need to get going with basically the MIB, I'm pretty sure, because this thing is like 3k pop, so I have to submerge it. Actually, you guys know what? We might want to unsubmerge it for a second to get some extra damage on the Moab and see how this thing is gonna do, but after this, I think it just has to go down. So let's go like this, and then it's still attacking. Oh, we're leaking the Moab though. Alright, so how about we do this? We drop a, well, there's already some glue here on the ground, but I'm gonna drop another one, and I'm gonna drop this this idol, have it like this, and then hopefully we blow back some of these balloons. I see some black balloons actually getting blown back. That's some really good RNG, and there we go. Alright, I know that we're missing a bunch of stuff, but we cannot pop zebras and black balloons without this sub. So the next thing that we're going for, actually the first thing that I'm going for, is just going for the MIB. I know that this is a super early purchase, but this is just the way it has to go. I mean, on the plus side, we did solve the camo problem, so we're not gonna be spending money on the potions. And actually, now that I think about this, one other thing we could do is we could probably just do the Jerry's Fire onto this guy, which is gonna allow it to pop zebras. Alright, so how about we submerge this thing, we get the Jerry's Fire going onto the bomb. This is gonna be around 45, so it's gonna last until the end of the 40s. And yeah, I think it's pretty much smooth sailing from this point onwards, although the placement of the Alchemist is gonna get weird for sure. So I'm not exactly sure if we want to be buying the Alchemist now or when things get a little bit more difficult. So I know that I want to do this for sure. Let's get the primary training. We actually need to keep dropping the Jerry's Fire, so let's drop it again, and then I guess rebuying the MIB so we don't depend on the Jerry's Fire, or are we rushing the Bomb Blitz? Because this is a super cheap tier 5, by the way. Only 25k, but for the amount of damage and the ability that you get, if you can plan around it, it is an amazing upgrade. So how about we actually get the MIB, I was thinking. We're going for the Call to Arms anyways, and then if we have the money, the Homeland wouldn't be bad either, or maybe just like 2 Call to Arms villages, I don't know. Actually, in the second tunnel, we do have the Regis, so we have a lot of options basically, but the idea is because this map is short, we want to be keeping the balloons in place. Like obviously the 50s, the 60s, and then once you get the bomblets like the 70s, you're not even going to be an issue just because this is a super strong tower. So as you guys are seeing, for example, it's around 55, a bunch of AoE, a bunch of attacks, but then it's only like a single 0-4 bomb, by the way. We don't even have the Jerry's Fire right now. But yeah, let's actually try and rush the bomblets, I was thinking. So 25k, we should be able to buy this thing relatively quickly. I was thinking if we can get it around 63, actually just make sure we have it for 63. That's the main goal, I think. This might get a little bit tricky. It's 57, it's 2x2 Moabs, and it is getting tricky. So how about we give it to Jerry's Fire again? Jerry's Fire coming to a rescue. We also can do, I'm actually going to do this. Let's drop a glue. Just make sure we have it just in case. It's here on the other side, so it's not going to get spent that easily. So in case something leaks, then we know that we would probably needed it anyways. I mean, on another hand, if we just, you know, if we're planning to buy a glue anyways, then we could just buy a glue and then not keep spending $160 each time we, you know, we encounter some issues. But yeah, let's just play it like this for now. Let's just rush the bomblets. So 25k, this is gonna be, are we having this thing before the BFB on 60? I think we are. Yeah, there we go, we get the money. This is actually right on time. We just got the money for this thing from the end of round cash, so let's buy it. The good thing about the bomblets is that every single attack is a cluster, unlike the recursive cluster, which is every other shot. On top of that, you get a bunch of extra damage. These clusters are stronger, you get some attack speed, and obviously the bomblets passive ability. So now we actually don't care if we leak balloons. We want to see this passive ability get triggered, but we have to be very careful from the cooldown increase, basically the extra 15 seconds, because we can't be leaking that often. So for example, this is around 63 and it's not even close, although I would have liked to have Striker Jones for the extra pierce in this tower. And keep in mind, still going strong without an Alchemist. This is basically nothing on the screen so far. We're going for an overclock anyway, so I was thinking we want to get some discounts off of it, but you don't want to have it attack, so maybe like this spot is gonna be good. I don't think I can see anything. Yeah, let's place it like this. Let's do our mandatory round watch for 75 and 76. It's usually not even close, but I just want to take a look at these rounds because this is where kind of things start turning in BTD6. 75 is an annoying round. 76 is as well if you don't have the right defense, but I have a feeling the AoE from the bomblets is going to be more than enough. So let's just watch this one. How's it looking? Yeah, it's not even close. We also bought the overclock with about 12k, and Geraldo did unlock the rejuve potion, so that's really nice. We're gonna not use the Jerry's Forest as of yet, but when when the 80s roll in, I feel like it's going to be a nice addition to the damage. Keep in mind, we're also looking to get an Alchemist, by the way, which we still haven't bought, and I'm just kind of thinking, when do we want to buy the Alchemist and what its location is going to be. If there's one thing that the Bomb Blitz hates, it's these beefy balloons like the ZOMG, although maybe not the first one. Maybe the ones coming in like the, I guess, mid to late 80s and obviously the 90s. But yeah, take a look at what's happening. This guy made a full, well, almost a full turn around this spiral, I guess. Yeah, some of the balloons are making it to the other side, which is not ideal. So here's what I wanted to do as well. Let's get the primary mentoring, I was thinking, because this does give a little bit of extra range to primary towers. Not too much benefit for the, I guess, for the Bomb Blitz. Although I am curious if this cooldown reduction actually works on the passive ability now that I think about this. Okay, let's start barring up some RR towers because we're going to see our first fortified BFBs, at least super fortified BFBs, ramped up fortified BFBs. So let's have the glue like this. Let's stop at the, I guess just the relentless glue is going to be fine. Keep it up first. And then we do have the overclock if necessary, but I just want to see how this thing performs by itself. So fortified's at the back. We're dealing with the normal ones, no problem, but are they actually going into the port? They are. Alright, so this is a huge problem. I mean, we do have like a million things left to do to help this guy out, but just the fact that they're entering the portal and it's only round 82, yeah, we just need to be careful. So here's what we're gonna do. We're buying the call to arms anyway, so might as well get it right now in the early 80s. Still no Alchemist. I know, guys. We're gonna get an Alchemist for sure. It just, I don't think now is the time. So how about we try and do it like this now with the overclock and see how we perform on 84. This is not usually an annoying round because it's a bunch of blue mobs and BFBs and none of them are fortified, so we're kind of fine on it. But here's what I actually wanted to check out. 87 with the 4 ZOMGs. So if we're beating this one, I guess I'm gonna feel kind of nice for the early 90s. Let's try with the overclock only, and then if we need to, we're gonna use something else. So hopefully not. Let's see how everything is going. So a bunch of AoE, I guess the small balloons are not still entering the portal, and with the overclock, this seems to be, yes, this is enough. The overclock is insane on this tower. It's not like only the main attack just attacks stronger, but it's because every single attack creates a bunch of clusters. You just get so much AoE out of this tower. And by the way, this pop effect that I have, I really like this thing. It's like the party pop or whatever it was called. Some fortifieds again, but this is 89, so these guys are a little bit stronger than the ones before, but still, I think we're handling them no problem. We're also getting a little bit of cash going, which is going to get spent relatively quickly. Alright, so first DTs, let's do a couple of things. We are going to need a Sabo. Actually, maybe more than one Sabo, but we're going to start with one. So let's see how we do versus the first DTs. We will slow them down a little bit with the glue, but is this thing going to be enough? I mean, it's only 3, so this is going to be a good gauge on how we're dealing with them. And honestly, the answer is not that good because they almost entered the portal, but that was only 3. Oh yeah, look at this thing. 91, by the way. No 45, so we just plow through them. That is insane. So how about we, I guess we can use the Sabo on this one so it comes off cooldown for 93, and then we're going to use the Sabo on the DDTs on 93. Let's overclock again, and let's just try and save some cash because I don't know what's going to be happening in the mid-90s. Alright, some of these ZMGs, are they entering the portal? They are. Oh, that's blue mobs actually entering the portal. This is, oh, the passive ability. I completely forgot about it. I was like, we're gonna have to restart this thing. Alright, so now we have to be really careful because the ability is on a super long cooldown. So let's use the Sabo, let's overclock, and now wait for these DDTs. I think this combo is gonna be enough for these guys on 93, but let's see how we do. Yeah, that wasn't even close. Alright, that was great. So how about we destroy 94 with both the call to arms and the overclock, because there's a little bit of a wait time before the DDTs come out to 95. So how about we just combine everything and just see the full power of these raw damage attacks. Yeah, this is insane. This is doing a lot of damage, by the way. There's a bunch of pops, and I guess everything is non-fortified, so this is likely gonna work right on this one. I would love to not trigger the passive ability on a round like this one, actually. Yeah, let's just try and save it. So it's only a couple of BFBs left, but no abilities as of yet. Hopefully this thing holds on. Let's do the overclock. Yeah, there we go. Alright, but even though we defeated that round, it's obviously not a good sign, right? Because if non-fortified balloons made it through the portal, then once the 45 start coming in, it's gonna be a huge problem. So here comes 95. Let's do the Sabo, and then let's do the call to arms, and hopefully these guys last long enough. As long as both of them are active, we're having absolutely no issues. The overclock is coming out, by the way, so even more attacks, but I think everything is active as of now. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so hopefully the Sabo lasts. Nope, the Sabo just ended, but I think the timing was good, and yeah, there we go, 95, no problem. Okay, so before 96, let's actually do a pop count check. So 5.5 on the sub, 372 on this guy, 1 pop on the NG, and yeah, all these other guys, they have 0 pops. So we're still on track for the 2 million pops. Maybe we could get a league going actually in a round like this one. I wouldn't mind that that before the ZMGs appear, or actually even with the ZMGs appearing, because we can damage them. There we go. And now for the ZMGs, let's do it like this. Let's dump all abilities for them. Let's try and do as much damage as possible. I think we're going to plow through them easily, and we have about 50k. So let's try and save the cash, because obviously we're not going to have enough damage versus the bad one, that's for sure. So we're going to need to save some cash for that thing, but let's just kind of see how everything is going. Alright, so for 97, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop these idols, because they do have a mini stun effect onto these mob class balloons. So if we can just hold these, wait, does it not work as UMGs, or is the effect like too small? Alright, I didn't know that. Okay, so let's dump the call to arms then. So we need a bunch of damage. We have some rejuice from Geraldo. What's his level? Oh, he's level 20. Maybe we could have done some shenanigans actually with the restock, because when he reaches level 20, he restocks the entirety of the shop, and then you can dump like a bunch of your items and then you get them back. Because how about we Sabo? I feel like we have to Sabo, but that's not good. Okay, that's not good, guys. Wanna know why that's not good? Well, number one, the Sabo's on cooldown, but number two, we needed the passive ability for this one. So if we do something like this, if we do a rejuve on this one, then it's not gonna be off for 99. But then we can do one more rejuve for 99 and the 45 DDTs. Should we actually do that? I think we are gonna do that. Let's do a rejuve. Let's trade. Oh my god. What? Are you guys seeing this? What just happened? How strong is that passive ability? Let's do one more rejuve then. I mean, it's fine. Let's just leak this DDT as well. Oh my god, this passive ability. I'm telling you guys, this thing is nuts. This is the exact reason why this tower is A tier, by the way. Alright, so let's try and do as much damage as possible. We're missing about 30k pops. That was probably the easiest round 98 and 99 that I've ever played in my life, by the way. Yeah, let's just keep doing some damage, although this is not gonna be enough, I don't think. So how about we drop the genius? I think we're going easily over the 2 million threshold with the bomb, but let me not just because these guys are doing a lot of damage. Okay, so let's not jinx it. We have no other abilities, by the way. How are the pops doing? Oh, 20k pops left. Are we actually doing this? Oh, I don't know about this one. I mean, we had a yeah, we're not doing this. Let's retry around 100. All right, so how about we do a combination of this and then the homeland and then maybe something like a spike. We don't have a bunch of cash, but how about we just do this, like a Moab Shura spike? All right, so let's combine some of these abilities. So go like this, overclock, and then we get the homeland, which is going to be a huge damage buff, and then it's going to affect the spikes, so it's going to produce a bunch more spikes. Now let's see if this damage is going to be enough. I think it's going to be a lot better than last time, right? We need to get the pop on time, basically. I'm dropping this thing again. Oh, the timing was... It wasn't good, but it was fine, I think. And then one more round of homeland. Do we have some creepy idols and stuff? We do. Okay, let's go like this. Let's overclock again. Oh, I think this is gonna get close again, guys. I don't think we have it though, unless we get the passive ability, which it's not coming out because we used it in the previous one. Oh, we actually do get it. We actually do get the passive ability, and with the new cooldown, this thing is still insane. And let me check the pops. Yes, we get over the 2 million threshold. That's very good. That is the new bomb Blitz. That is a super fun tower. You guys can see why this is A tier, by the way, right? But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Ninja Kiwi made a huge mistake, and recently they tried to actually fix that huge mistake that they've made over the course of the past few updates. So what I'm talking about specifically is the Bomb Blitz, the bottom path tier 5. This used to be an absolutely insane tower. Over the course of a couple of updates, Ninja Kiwi was trying really hard to make this tower kind of good and reliable, and actually I think they succeeded in doing that. They did a lot of things. They started reducing the attack cooldown. I think they made the attack a little bit stronger. They started reducing the price of the tier 5 slowly. They reduced the cooldown of the passive ability, if I remember correctly, and then eventually they made it so that you can actually use the tower in chimps mode, because you no longer needed to actually leak lives in order to proc the passive ability. So needless to say, this tower was absolutely insane, and the price of the tier 5 actually became, you guys are not gonna believe this number, it's $23,000. Yep, $23,000 for a tower that could do all of those things. It was just absolutely insane. And now Ninja Kiwi is trying to fix that mistake that they've made. So what did they do? Well, very simple. They just bumped up the price on the whole thing, but it wasn't exactly a small price increase. It was actually a huge price nerf. The price went from $23,000 to $30,000. And actually that's not all, because whenever you go on hard mode, or in this case we're playing on chimps, look at the price. $32,400. This is nuts. Now, to be fair, they did reduce the passive abilities cooldown from 75 to 60 seconds, which is obviously going to help. But come on, that price increase is just absolutely disgusting. Something that you could do previously is that you could just straight up go for the 024, and then because it's that type of a tower, it easily saves up into its next upgrade. So in this case, that was the Bomb Blitz, and usually you could get the Bomb Blitz something like, I don't know, oh wait a minute, am I late with the camo? Nope, we just got it. But yeah, previously you could just get this thing before like these major rounds, like I want to say the mid game, something like round 63 or something like that. And that was really important for us, because that would just simply mean that you had the entirety of the mid game up until I want to say like maybe early to mid 80s covered with just one single tower. Now that is, I don't think that's gonna be the case anymore. So let's try and buy this tower and see how good it actually is. We're gonna play on an extra map. This is gonna be Dark Castle. I wanted to use this bomb as the main damage dealer, so how about we just buy a little bit of, I don't want to get too greedy with this, but I also want to get 2 discount villages. So how about we do something like, I don't know, I was thinking we try and start things off with a village and hopefully we play off of the sub, but we're still gonna need a little bit of extra damage for the Moab around 40, so let's be careful. But yeah, what an absolutely insane nerf. If you guys take a look at the tier list for the previous update, you're gonna see that the Bomb Blitz used to be A tier. A tier is ridiculous. I mean, it's a cheap tower, it can pop, well, not all types of balloons, but that's why we brought Striker Jones. It's pretty reliable, it has some good AoE, and it's also easily gonna allow you to save up into your next tower, right? The Bomb Blitz doesn't have to be the main damage tower, you can just buy something else and you're likely gonna be fine. But the thing is, it was such a great tower because it eliminates with the passive ability, right? It eliminates everything that's basically a BFB and below regardless of its HP. And so in the ultra late game, you can just plan around this thing and you're essentially gonna have like this $20-something thousand tower that's gonna be wiping almost the entirety of a round. Alright, so 35 incoming, so I wanna do a couple of things. First things first, I wanna get 2 villages. So how about we go like this? Hopefully this is not too greedy because we're gonna have 36 incoming in a second. It's gonna be a huge wave, so let me buy the clusters and see if it's gonna be enough with the clusters. So there we go. Now get the, I think we're going for the millipede for sure because we want the extra attack speed. And let's just kind of do a normal run and see how impactful this change is going to be, specifically the price change and how early or how late we're going to be getting the Bomb Blitz, and then what are going to be the consequences of that. And obviously in the ultra late game, we're going to be playing off of the passive ability. But let's see how we're doing with these camos. Yep, the sub takes care of it. Alright, so for the next couple of rounds, I'm just going to be saving cash. We need some money for the Moab around 40. The sub is going to do decent damage, I guess. I really do want to go for the clusters, but at the same time, I think I want to be careful in spending the cash. As soon as round 40 starts, I'm going to buy the cluster, and then we're going to chill for a second. So let's go like this now, buy the cluster. The Alchemist is in the range of both discounts, so maybe get the AMD, and then as soon as this thing pops, we need to use the Striker Jones level 10 ability on all of these guys. There we go. We barely got it. Alright, I might have made a mistake of buying the Polypath upgrade on the Alchemist. So how is our camo going to be doing? That's barely enough. Alright, let's go like this. Let's secure these camo balloons once and for all, I think. And then this village on the right side is going to be the top hat one, so we're going to get the primary upgrades. But yeah, this is what this tower does, the 024. This is, I have a feeling that this tower is a favorite among you guys as well. Not only because of the AoE, but just because of the reliability on it. It's super cheap, attacks pretty fast, you can pop almost all balloon types, obviously, and if you have Striker Jones, then it's going to be able to deal with all of them, basically. It works really well with an Alchemist, and it's just like this all-around kind of cheapish tower that used to save up into itself, into its tier 5 pretty nicely. Something like, I usually use the example of the Overdrive into the Tag Zone. I really like that type of a save up, but it obviously works for other towers as well, like maybe this Polypath sub as well, the AP darts into the sub commander, right? But yeah, before buying the Bomb Blitz, let's actually buy some towers that we were normally gonna buy in order to secure our early and mid game. So how about we go like this, get the strongest limit, and I'm gonna go up to, I think, the primary training. We're gonna stop there. So now the mob is being buffed by a lot of things. We get the 10% extra attack speed from Striker Jones, plus we can pop 50% of all the black balloons in the zebras. We have an Alchemist, we have some attack speed buffs from the village, and I think the sub is here to help out a little bit as well. And now the only thing that I'm worried about is if we can pop Moab class balloons without having to click any abilities, and I think the answer is yes. Yeah, let's watch some of these mid-50s to get a gauge on how good our defenses are at this point. So we currently have $13,000, that is round 50. Oh, these guys are making it kind of far though. Yeah, maybe if we encounter some rounds like 54 or 57, we might have some issues. Let's watch 54 because this one has ceramics and blue Moab. So let's kind of chill. The first Moab is incoming. How are we doing with the insides? They're gone. How about the second Moab? Yeah, we are doing fine with this one actually. Alright, how about 57? 2 Moabs. We do have the Striker Jones ability if necessary, but hopefully we clean it out without any additional help. Yeah, this is exactly what this tower does. This is why I love it so much as well. But I guess with the old price, it was $23,000 on like medium, but we do have the money so that we are able to buy it in the old hard hard mode as well, which is like we have like 25k at this point, right? So we would have been absolutely been able to buy the tier 5 bomblets like nothing before the nerfs. Now the question is, how impactful is this gonna be? Like, let's say before we encounter the 45 Moabs on 62, because we know for a fact that we're gonna need it for the BFB plus the 45 Moabs plus round 63, I think, but I don't know about that one. Let's just try and use the Striker Jones ability. Oh my god, that's super close, but the clusters take care of it. Alright, so the biggest question, do we actually get $32,000 before we lose, essentially? Oh, I don't know about that one, guys. Alright, how about we help this guy out a little bit? We use the Striker Jones stun ability, and then can we do something else? I mean, probably not. Just hopefully that stun ability was enough. Yeah, it was. And now all we need to do is we need to survive the 45 mobs, and then we need to hope that we have 32.4 in order to buy it before 63. And this is exactly the spot that Ninja Q was targeting. This is exactly it. Okay, let's see how we're gonna do versus the 45. So I think we're getting 2 Striker Jones abilities off, so I'm just gonna stun this guy for a second. The first one is gonna pop. How about the insights? Barely. The second one ain't popping, guys. And look at the money, 31. So we were not even getting the money for the tier 5. Alright, so how do we actually help ourselves a little bit? I mean, we could probably buy glue. I wouldn't mind getting a glue, but the thing is, this is delaying it, right? Because remember, we could have gotten it like the mid to late 50s normally, and now we have to spend money in order to survive so we can start saving up for the bomb blitz again. This is ridiculous. So let's try it with a 013 Moab glue. Hopefully this is enough under the range of 2 discounts, so that's nice. And then take a look at the setback, 27k. This is ridiculous. Hopefully we deal with these guys, by the way. So that's 45 Moab number 1. It's been dealt with. How about the second one? Let's pop it and then let's use the level 3 Striker Jones ability for the insides. There we go. I mean, look, we survived 62, but how about 63? Let's see if the AoE is gonna be enough. Hopefully it is. It's enough for the first wave. I'm gonna speed things up with those. We also do have the Striker Jones level 3 ability if necessary, so let's watch the second wave. We get this one done as well. Now I'd actually like to save the level 3 ability for the 45s on the next one, so we do deal with 63. That's great. Alright, the money's going up again, guys. Are we actually gonna be able to get it this time around? Because these 3 45 mobs are about to come out. They're gonna be super annoying. So I think the first one is gonna, oh my god, the first one ain't popping. We have 3 to deal with. Oh no. Yep, this is exactly what the nerfs are doing to us, guys. I mean, we could do something like this. This is a tower that I would normally buy, like, anyways, which is, I guess we can go for the mid band this time around. So buy 0 to 4 Moab press. Let's see if I bought it on time. I think that's gonna be the most important question. The second one is about to pop. I'm gonna use the stun on the third one. There we go. But look at the cash, back to 26,000. Alright, attempt number 3 to get this thing. I think we're finally gonna get it on round 69. So this is, I mean, this is so much later than you would have previously gotten it, right? But there we go, we get the cash, so I'm just gonna buy it. And again, just take a look at how much this can change the tower and what can actually do to your lineup. And it's not that it changes things a lot in your games, right? But it's like, there used to be an easy way to get it, and it just like, the cluster saves up into the bomblets, and now it just no longer does, and you have to buy some other towers to help yourself. Alright, so now that we've bought this thing, things are obviously gonna get super easy. This thing is not losing until the, I want to say the mid 80s, maybe like a ZOMG if we don't have enough damage for it, but I feel like with the glue and the more press, we should be able to keep him in place for long enough. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go like this, get the relentless. Striker Jones is leveling up super fast, so he's gonna get another 10% extra attack speed to this bomb, so that's gonna be nice. But I think this guy is not losing up until free play, so I'm gonna see you guys in a second, actually. So you guys know what's the round that this guy's gonna lose to, because it's 89 and he's not budging. No, this is actually not even close. Well, the reason why it's not even close is these two guys, is the support towers, because that's how BTD6 works. But we have our first DDTs, and again, the passive ability. This is exactly what makes this tower so good. I absolutely love it. See, that's the thing. I don't think that after this nerf it's gonna drop dramatically in the ratings. I mean, obviously the ratings in the tier list have been made for true expert maps, right? So affording this thing on a true expert map rather than just like a normal expert map is very different. I mean, the save up is just ridiculous. Look at this thing, 63,000. This guy obviously has some weaknesses. The weaknesses are ZOMGs, which are just like beefy balloons, and obviously the bat around 100, but also small balloons and some ceramics, which it does take a couple of hits to get rid of the ceramic layers. So we can do a couple of things. We can either buff this guy's attack speed, which is I guess one of the options, or we can try and just stall and slow down all these ceramics so this guy has time to deal with them. Now this is a very interesting thing that is about to happen. You might think that we're going to lose in this round, but as soon as we pump the ZOMG layers, if anything leaks, which I hope it doesn't actually, because I think we want to have the passive ability for 93. But yeah, in case I don't think anything's leaking, but in case anything had leaked, just the passive ability goes off and destroys everything. So this is gonna be important. I actually don't know how it works on this map. If there are deities behind the trees, but the passive ability procs, because we can't see them, do they actually... Oh, I don't think you do damage to these guys that you cannot see. So how about we help ourselves by doing this, removing all the trees, I was thinking. Am I wrong on that? I don't know, but it's like only 4,000, so I actually don't even mind doing it. Let's see how we do on 94. So these beefy rounds starting to come in. We obviously don't exactly care about anything besides the 0MGs, and if we leak something, especially with the new cooldown, which is 60 seconds on the passive ability, we're completely fine. Striker Jones is level 20, by the way. So a trick that you can do is you can use the, what's this thing called? The artillery command, I think? Yeah, the artillery command, which is the level 10 ability, resets the cooldowns on all bombs and mortars, right? But this also works on the passive ability, so you can have 2 passive abilities instead of 1. So that's like an ace in the sleeve that we have, and we're gonna get... Oh, actually, I thought something was gonna leak there, but as soon as we pop... Yeah, look at this thing. As soon as we pop all of these UMGs, bam, it's like not even close. Alright, now here's what I want to do for this specific round, for 95. I am gonna get an absolute 0. Now the idea is, I want to beat this round by using the passive abilities, so hopefully twice. Now let's try and slow some of these DDTs. Do we... Actually, are we even gonna get the passive ability? Okay, so let's go like this, let's freeze, and then buy ourselves a little bit of time, and I just genuinely hope something is gonna leak, so that we proc the ability, we don't have to pop these guys, but you guys know what, this bomb blitz in combination with the absolute 0, this is not even close. Yeah, so that's another way to deal with all these small balloons, right? The ceramics, you can just buy some time for this guy to pop them with the crazy attack speed that he has. Keep in mind, we don't even have an overclock at this point, but yeah, he's just gonna be dealing with everything. So how is 96 gonna go? No 45 balloons on this one yet. Well, actually, there were just like 45 mobs at the start, but we dealt with them pretty quickly. 98 might be interesting in that scenario. But let's see how we do versus these 0MG. So a lot of stalls, buying a lot of time, and just in case something leaks, it's gonna go out with the passive ability, but nope, never mind. Alright, 97, 2 super beefy 0MGs. Are we gonna proc the passive ability in this one? What do you guys think? I actually don't think so. Let's try and stun these guys with the Striker Jones stun, which doesn't exactly last that long, and now that we have the BFBs, I mean, even if something leaks, we don't exactly mind. I'm just gonna stun these guys again. Let's try and save it for 98. Is that gonna be the case? Yep. Alright, now this is the big one. Round 98. Now, do we proc the passive ability on this one? I'm not exactly sure, and I don't think we're in control anymore. You can actually be proccing this passive ability. You could just not buy that many defenses, or you could just not buy an absolute 0, I guess. Let's freeze these guys just for a second. There we go. We do proc it, and that's like half the round gone or something like that. Maybe the entirety of the round, because there was only a handful of BFVs. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Alright, so here's the thing for 99. We are likely going to leak some of these 45 DTs. I mean, hopefully not again, but the passive ability is on cooldown. So I guess if I see something leaking, I'm just gonna refresh it. Yeah, there we go. I refreshed it with the level 10 ability. Yep, and we got it again for 99. What a ridiculous tower, guys. Okay, so what do we do for 100? Let's just finish it off with something like, do you have the money for cover spikes? Yes, we do. There we go. Yeah, because this guy's obviously not gonna be able to handle it, right? So how about we just do this? I'm gonna click the active ability. As soon as we can get it, I'm gonna click the active ability, and bam, there it is. The Bomb Blitz in all of its glory. What a tower. And I don't think it's gonna drop in the rankings by too much, but again, those tier lists are skewed towards true expert maps, and I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna work, but that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. So the tier 5 Bomb Blitz just got a huge damage boost, and on top of this, it is keeping all of the other benefits that it got from the previous updates. So let's try this tower out and let's see how good it actually is. So for those of you that are not aware, this thing has been just getting, but well, actually, you know, we made a video on this, and I'm not exactly sure if the things that happened in the previous update were buffs, but what I know for sure is that if you combine the, you know, the changes from the previous update and the ones from this update, this tower is just straight up a lot better than it used to be. So let's talk about the changes. Actually, before we talk about the changes, let's talk about how we're gonna defend round 15. I mean, let's just give this guy a little bit of extra attack speed and maybe a little bit of extra range. Is this gonna change things? Maybe we should. Do we want to have this guy on strong is my question. The Dart Monkey, I feel like the Dart Monkey is the key, so let's have the Dart on strong actually, and let's see. As long as we get rid of the pinks and the yellows, we should be fine. And yes, that was exactly it. You just need to get rid of the other the fast balloons. That's it. Okay, so let's go into the changes right off the get-go. So the first change that happened in the last update, actually, just so I contextualize the changes, the first change was that this guy's price got reduced from 30, I think it was 37.8k on hard mode, and now it's 30,000. So it was about a $7,000 decrease on medium mode, and that's huge. I mean, when you take off $7,000 of a 5th tier tower that doesn't even cost that much, that's an insane price reduction, but they didn't stop here. So basically, this thing used to attack once every 1.5 second, and now they kind of toned it down to 1 second. So essentially, it attacks faster. That's what that thing meant. But to compensate for that, they reduced the damage from 6 to 3. And now that's really important because, well, yes, it attacks faster, but, you know, now it is... Wait, let me just get the missile launcher, by the way. Yeah, it attacks faster, but at the same time, it just does a lot less damage. So why did I say that this thing is really good now? Well, because all of that extra damage that it lost, it went from 6 to 3. Well, now in this update, it was just one single line in the patch notes, and it went, the Bomb Blitz's damage got increased from 3 to 5. So now this thing is almost... Oh, wait a minute, we're leaking. Let's just get this thing like this. Let's see if the Dark Monkey saves us again. But yeah, the damage of this thing is now almost back to where it was. But yeah, the price reduction and the extra attack speed, we get to keep all those things, which is absolutely insane. So now this thing is even stronger than it was, and let's test how good it is. So normally you would want to buy Striker Jones with this thing, and actually the last time we tested this, I did have Striker Jones, but now I want to have Corvus. And the reason why I want to have Corvus, I don't plan on casting that many spells, honestly. In fact, if we can use as little as spells as possible, that's going to be amazing. But I do want to have Corvus because Corvus has this ability which allows you to basically get like a mana shield, and you can proc the Bomb Blitz passive ability onto the mana shield. So if we can make that thing happen once, I'm going to be super happy. And wait a minute, I just said that I don't I want to use spells, but let me just use the spear for a second. Let's use the level 3 ability to get some... Wait a minute, I should turn this thing... No, it turned itself off because we didn't have mana, but that was enough just for the... let me just harvest a little bit of mana, actually. And I don't want to turn this into a Corvus run, but I feel like we are going to need to, because here's the problem with this thing. The spear can pop lead balloons, but let me just dismiss it. But the problem with the lead balloon popping power is that it's behind Corvus and it's behind our other towers. So yeah, it might be a little bit tricky. Yeah, just like this. But I feel like because it's only 2 lead balloons, we should have this thing. Yes, there we go. And a bunch of zebras. So let me just use the spear to clean these guys out. Let me dismiss this thing and let's see if this is gonna decamo all these camo whites. Yeah, there we go. So something that I really like about towers like the bottom pad bomb, especially now that this thing does so much damage, is, and I put this thing in the league of something like the overdrive as well, right? Or maybe the destroyer, or maybe the never miss ace, or maybe even the razor roder's heli. And something that all these towers have in common is that we like them so much because they're just so you know, easy to work with, because they scale nicely and they let you buy the next upgrade a lot easier. So for example, if you're talking about the overdrive, you buy this thing, you buff it up, and then you easily have the money for the tag zone. If you're talking about the never miss ace, you buy this thing, you alchemize it, and then it easily saves up for the Spectre, right? And so I feel like that's the same story that we have right now with the recursive clustering to the Bomb Blitz. It's such a good tower, you just buff it up, and then it's, you know, it needs a little bit of extra help versus, you know, these black balloons and zebras, but it can hold its own. And then once you buy the 5th tier, especially the new 5th tier with a bunch of extra damage, I feel like this is just going to be so much better than it was. And actually, let me use the spear while we're at it, just because there are a lot of zebras in this stage around 39, so let's kind of get rid of those guys. I think I'm actually going to keep Corvus's spear active just for a second, and then once we're done with the rainbows, I'm going to turn it off right now. So we're going to have a Moab in a second, and we don't have a single buff. So let's start with a 300 Alchemist, and then what else do we... Can we do some Corvus shenanigans? I don't think so. Maybe we just pop this thing and we trample the ceramics, right? So let's go like this, and as soon as it pops, we're gonna need to do it like this, and there we go. That's the Moab. Oh, come on, man. More zebras, and we do not have the money to afford the MIB, so I feel like it's just gonna be, you know, back with Corvus, I guess. So let's use this thing. Let's use the spear. The spear has been a lifesaver in these past few rounds. Let's just use it again. I'm gonna dismiss it because I do want to keep nourishing, but yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. So look at round 49. So look at what's gonna be happening. A bunch of ceramics, and the problem is gonna be the black balloons and the zebras, but we have the money for the MIB. So once you buy this thing, we have absolutely... Am I gonna jinx it? I see a ceramic. No, I don't see a ceramic. There we go. Yes, this tower is just gonna clean everything out, and it's really nice versus, you know, versus these huge groups of balloons. But if you go for the Millicross pet, actually, which is the better one for the Bomb Blitz, especially once you alchemize it like this with the 40 Alchemist, it even deals with Moab class balloons. That's really nice. And yes, look at this thing. Look at these clusters go. You want to get the extra attack speed because the clusters happen on every second hit, I believe. So if you get extra attack speed, then it's essentially going to be clusters all over the place. And once you get the Bomb Blitz, actually, every attack is a cluster attack. One area in which this tower might struggle, by the way, is going to be fortified balloons. So I do have the harvest. I should probably harvest right now just to get some mana going. And once these fortified balloons start coming out, I feel like the fortified mobs might be a little bit of a challenge for it. So let's see what happens. We're going to have 2 on this round. I feel like the one on the right is going to pop, but I'm not sure about the one on the left. Maybe maybe he's gonna get close with the ceramics. I should probably repel, honestly. Let's use a repel. Yeah, I am not exactly sure. Maybe we need to help it out a little bit before going for the bomb blitz. But actually, this is where this tower shines, right? So it shouldn't have a problem versus, oh my god, it's so close. Yeah, so it shouldn't have a problem versus these, and it doesn't, I don't think, but let me not jinx it. Let's just watch what is happening. Oh my god, these clusters are picking it up. It's really close, but I think it's close just because we're playing on Ray. But so this might be a little bit of an issue before you get the bomb blitz. So yeah, we're gonna definitely leak on this round, but I'm just kind of thinking, what do we want to do to salvage this thing? Is it gonna be Corvus? Okay, so I do want to fix this, but I don't want to get extra damage. I want to get some support from Corvus actually, so I'm gonna use the Frostbound, but let's Echo first. Let's Frostbound, and then let's repel as well so that we get some pushback going. I think I should harvest some mana back just in case. And then if we need to, we do have the trample, but oh my god, I'm gonna need you guys to stomp them up at the back. There we go. And then these two, I think the repel is still active. It's gonna need to do a lot of work, but oh, wow, that was so close. That was incredible patience actually, because I had the trample ready in my hand, but I didn't use it. And I know that I've been saving, you know, this run using Corvus's abilities, but I want to switch once we get the bomb blitz, which we do have the money for right now. So let me just buy it. And now what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be focusing on the soul barrier, because once you use it, it's essentially gonna give us some extra mana. We can leak lives, and once we leak lives, we can use the passive ability on the bomb blitz. So that's gonna be amazing. And this is a key round for this one. So we had the recursive, and the recursive was actually struggling versus these guys, versus the 45 mobs. We know that the bomb blitz is not gonna struggle versus them, but how fast does it defeat them? And the answer is very fast. The answer is actually incredibly fast. So I do expect this thing to kind of struggle a little bit versus 45 balloons when you know, free play rounds start rolling in, but we are gonna have a lot more DPS onto him as well, because we're getting ready with the overclock. We're gonna get some damage amplifiers, and then I'm super excited about Corvus, and then trying to just leak a couple of balloons, honestly, just so we get the bomb blitz at least once in this game. So we see the first 45 BFBs actually into free play. So yeah, these guys should be a little bit of an issue. I do have the overclock, but I'm not gonna be using it. Let's see how. Okay, so look at these ceramics. So the ceramics are actually making it all the way onto the bottom track, and this could be a sign of trouble unless we start overclocking or getting, you know, some support towers soonish. How are we gonna do versus these ramped up free play ZMGs is my question. I do have the soul barrier in my hand, so I'm gonna keep the spell like this, and I feel like it's gonna lose. Yes, let's use the ability, and bam, there we go. We actually saw it. I love doing this thing. Oh my god, it's so fun. But is it actually gonna defend? Yes, it is. That was actually, that's how you do it on Chimps mode. You can, and this, you know what? You actually get to keep your black border because you don't lose, and that's that's so cool actually that they made it work like this. You know, when Corvus came out with the bomb blitz, this did not used to work, by the way. That they only made it work in like update 41 or something like that, if I remember correctly. So yeah, oh my god, we're gonna get to do it again. I love doing this thing. Let's just kind of be patient. Maybe it's gonna defend. Let's use it. No, we get to use it again. That's amazing. You know what, I'm thinking maybe we should have done this on a dark path, because all the balloons loop in the middle, and so all of them are gonna get hit by the clusters. It would have been amazing, but you know what, Rake is probably fine, and we do lose to DDTs. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so let's overclock this guy. Let me actually test something. Do these spells, these repel and the frostbound, do they work on DDTs? They should, right? I mean, there's no reason not to. Maybe the overclock helped a little bit, but wait a minute, it's pushing this lead balloon. It stopped pushing the lead balloon. I think they work. There's no reason for them not to work, but it's like, I don't know, it's DT, so maybe there's like an interaction there. It was kind of weird. I wasn't able to actually see it that time. You know what? I should probably do the explosion on this round, right? So let's actually harvest a little bit of mana, and let's do this. Let's do the explosion, get some damage going on to these ZMGs. Let me overclock, and the next round is gonna have a bunch of DDTs. So here's how I want to prepare for the DDTs. I'm gonna have one Sabo for sure, but maybe we're gonna have even more than one Sabo. So let's see how we do on this one. We do have the soul barrier. How much mana do we have? It's max mana. Okay, so let's watch the soul barrier. I'm gonna use the call to arms, and I feel like this should be enough. Yeah, there we go. It's enough versus these DDTs, but keep in mind this is only 93. Okay, so DDTs are incoming. This is the problem that the bomb blitz has. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna overclock. We're gonna use the call to arms, and we know for a fact that while both of these abilities are active, we can deal with all the DDTs. Now the problem is these guys are gonna disappear, and I hope that the abilities last, but if they don't, we do have a soul barrier. So let's see if this is gonna be enough. Oh no, never mind, it's gonna be enough.
that's completely fine. So we thought with this is probably not the most dangerous deities, because the ones from 99 are gonna be even more dangerous than these ones, just because they're fortified. But honestly, so far so good. We have another I bought another Sabo. I'm not sure if I told you guys, but yeah, I bought one more Sabo, and then the last tower that I want to buy is probably gonna be the Glue Storm. I want to get it in the range of the discounts. And hold on, wait a minute, I see some 45 sorry to leak. Let's actually I overclocked, but let's actually try and purposely leak something so that we can erase all these BFBs with the Bomb Blitz ability. Is that even gonna be a thing? I don't know, maybe we're gonna leak something from the ZMGs. I do have the Soul Barrier in my hand. I think that we are. Let me just use it. Oh no, I used it preemptively. Please something leak, like leak right now. No, the barrier is gonna disappear and we're not gonna get it. Okay, so let's panic mode, call to arms, Sabo as soon as possible. And I think we actually have this thing. Oh no, I wanted to leak so bad on that round. Come on, man. And this is gonna be it. This is the big, actually the last 3 rounds are gonna be the big rounds in general. So I have no planner on dealing with the bad blue, and I know this thing is not gonna be able to do it, but let me get the Glue Storm. This is one of the towers that I wanted to buy from the start, so let's get the Glue Storm like that. We can probably get something like an Brilliant Eyes, but I do want to save a little bit of cash. But this is gonna be it, guys. These 45 balloons are gonna be the ones that are gonna define whether or not we win this run. So let's use all of the abilities. I'm gonna use the Sambo as well. You know what, I should probably use the Glue Storm as well while we're at it. And we do have Corvus's ability, but the main idea is just dealing with the 45 balloons, and that's it. If we deal with the 45s, it's not guaranteed that we're gonna deal with the ZMGs, but we're actually gonna have, you know, some things to do with the ZMGs, like for example maybe the Soul Barrier or stuff. So all of the things expired, so I do have the Soul Barrier in my hand, and so I see these balloons and it's becoming a mess. I should probably use this thing as soon as possible. Yep, I see a ceramic. Yes, that was perfect. That was so good. Oh my god, the entire round is gone. It's gone. That's about it. This Soul Barrier combo, this is so cool. Okay, so let's try and stop these deities. So let's go like this. Let's use the Frostbound and the Repel, and then let's use the Sabo, and it is not working on these deities. Wait, what? Wait, should I use this then? Should I use the camo that Corvus has so that this thing starts working? Let me just restore a bunch of mana and now use all these abilities. Let's use the Sabo as well. Does this not work on these spirits? Like, what is? I think it should, right? It should work. The Frostbound and the Repel, they should work on DDTs. No. Okay, so a little bit of an issue with these 45 DDTs, it seems like. Let me first off start getting ready for the mad, because we don't have, for the bad actually, because we don't have enough damage. So let me buy both of the spikes from $73. That's insane how close it is. But I feel like, yeah, so the Call to Arms, it's just coming off cooldown, which means it was really a good idea to use it at the start of 98. And so I think I'm just gonna go all out for these deities. I wanted to save, you know, some of these abilities for the bad, but it's super slow, so we should get them back. And there we go. That's all the 45 deities, right? And yeah, so let's combine these abilities. Let's use the Glue Storm. Let's use both of these Pike Storms. And is this gonna be enough? I mean, the Call to Arms is gonna come off cooldown. So is the Overclock. So I should probably use them, right? Let's just go all out on these guys. As soon as this bad pops, we're gonna need to use the Sabo. But this is gonna get close. So how is Corvus's mana looking? It's maxed out. Okay, so I'm thinking about the Soul Barrier, right? So if we can get to use that thing one more time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Sabo, and then I'm going to Soul Barrier immediately. So let's use the Sabo. Let's Soul Barrier. I think we even activated the thing. Oh, wait a minute. It's not enough? Are we even gonna defeat this thing? Get the explosion? Yes, it was Corvus' explosion that saved us from those BFBs. Yes, look at this thing. You guys see it in the background? There we go. So we were super lucky that it was just BFBs, because if it was UMGs, the explosion doesn't defeat them, I don't think. You need a higher level on Corvus. But yeah, that's the new Bomb Blitz. It's gotten buffed. It does a lot more damage now, and it's a lot better than it used to be. So that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. So this tower has been getting buffed like crazy in the past 5 updates, and Ninja Kiwi is at it again. They're still making it stronger. Now the tower in question is the bottom path bomb, and mainly the Bomb Blitz, but also the other crosspaths were affected. And if you guys have been paying attention to, like, let's say the past 5 updates, this Bomb Blitz has been gotten ridiculously more powerful. Not only did it has less attack speed, they took away some damage, then they brought it back, they took away some 45 damage, but in regards to the price, which is the thing that I want to focus on, this thing used to cost 35,000 in update 42, and that's actually the first time that it got reduced to 28. And ever since then, including the latest changes, now it is down to 23,000. So in like 5 updates, this tower went from 35 to 23,000, which is a $12,000 decrease in price. Now on top of that, those are not the only changes happening in this update. Also, the previous crosspaths got a little bit cheaper, so the recursives are about $300 cheaper, and then the clusters are $100
$100 cheaper. So like this entire buff that happened in just the latest update is making this tower by like 2.9k cheaper. I mean, look at just the 50 or the bomb list, 25.5 to 23. That's crazy. So my question is, was this tower actually that bad so that it warranted about a $12,000 decrease in the span of like 5 updates? That's crazy. Let me just put Corvus like this. And by having Corvus, you guys probably know what we are about to be doing. So the Bomb Blitz is a tower that works really well with Corvus because you can use the mana shield and then you can proc the passive ability of the Bomb Blitz in chimps mode, which is not something that you can often say about a lot of towers. And then I also want to be playing in like this first quarter of the map. Even though we're playing a super long map, I only want to be playing in like this first quarter. I want to say this first bend, and then if anything leaks, then we're gonna try and pick it up with Corvus's Soul Barrier and the passive ability. Alright, so now since we have Corvus, we should be able to afford a lot of things early on pretty easily, I want to say. So let's just see how we do on this one. I think I'm just gonna use the level 3 ability. Let's nourish once and let's actually go for a double discount village. So have the first one probably somewhere around here. Alright, so 26. I think we do a nourish on this one, get a little bit of extra XP, and then how is the money looking? We should be able to afford the village quite soon, but it's gonna be 27. We're only defending with like, I guess, a couple of base towers plus Corvus. Alright, so I want to save a little bit of mana actually for the next round, and I'm just thinking, where do we want to have this second village? It's probably gonna be, I think, around here. I know it's really close to the bomb, but let's have it like this. Save a little bit of cash for round 28. We can pop Let's with the bomb. I'm actually gonna have this thing on strong, just want to see how we're doing on this one, because we're gonna have Let's on 30, and then do we need to use the level 3 ability? And so far it's looking good, I think. Yeah, that's fine. Now let's actually chill for a second for 33 and see if I played this thing correctly, because we have the vision, but can we afford cleansing? No, it's about how much? That's like $100 off, give or take. Okay, so let's use the vision then. Is vision gonna be enough by itself though to take care of the entirety of 33? I hope it is. I mean, we are making money during this round. Vision is about to end in a second. Oh my god, this is gonna there's one last. This is gonna be the last one, isn't it? No, 2 yellows left. Okay, so we can let these guys actually come out and then use the vision, and then maybe we can use some other spells so that we can get the clean a little bit faster. I was thinking of getting the, not the trample, but the haste actually, just so we make the spirit a little bit faster, so it chases them a little bit faster. And how's the duration looking? Hopefully that's the, okay, hopefully that was the last one. Oh my god, that was perfect. Yes, that's amazing. Alright, we need a camel detection effects like right now, so that could be 2 things. It could either be the cleansing foam, or maybe we just do something like this. Just get the raiders counter as soon as possible. There we go. I mean, the Corvus early game, ladies and gentlemen, this is what's happening. We can afford the cluster a little bit cheaper, this one as well. I think it was about $300 cheaper. Went from 2.8 to 2.5. Because this is chimp so much, it's 2.7, so it's completely fine. Let's just buy it. Get a lot of extra damage, and then I think we can also afford to do this. And then for the mob around 40, I think I'm just gonna swipe all the ceramics with Corvus's level 3 as soon as we pop the mob player. So just kind of wait for a second. 0-4 is actually really good versus mobs in general because of the increased attack speed. Get the level 3, and there we go. But I think with the exception of round 33 with the vision thingy that we just needed to time it a little bit better, this is so far going amazing. Let me, by the way, just keep nourishing just because we have the 0-4. So now this thing can hold by itself, which means that all of the mana can be used in nourishing. Are you guys fans of this tower, by the way, of the Bomb Blitz? Look at the new tier 5 price, 25. I vividly remember this thing being 37.8k just a while back, which is kind of wild looking at this price nowadays. And it's a nice tower because it kind of buys itself, right? The tier 4 is so good that it saves up for itself into the tier 5, and I really love those types of towers. That was around 49, by the way, so just demolishing small balloons as expected. We're a little bit stronger versus mobs, so let's see how we're gonna do versus the mobs on round 50. I don't want to be, maybe we're gonna swipe the ceramics actually just so we get some mana and we can nourish it, but the next one we're not gonna have the level 3 ability, I don't think. Yeah, it's still on cooldown, but I think the bomb base, yeah, it's just gonna 2-shot it or something like that. That's crazy. Okay, so look at how fast we're affording this thing now thanks to all these new prices. I mean, what's the only thing left for us? I guess just keep nourishing, I think. Oh yeah, look at this thing. This is like BTD6 on easy mode. I mean, Corvus is just doing his old thing. The bomb is doing his own thing. We're gonna have the bomb blitz in a second, and the thing with the bomb blitz is that once you buy it, I don't think you have anything to worry about, at least not until like free play. And then even if we hit free play, I actually want to be triggering passive ability as much as possible. So we want to play off of that thing because the damage is gonna, you know, it's gonna fall off considerably, I feel like, versus all those big balloons in like, you know, like free play in the 90s especially. We finally get the money, round 56 for the bomb blitz, and once you buy this thing, I mean, this thing is just going ham. By the way, every attack is a cluster on the bomb blitz. I'm not sure if you guys knew that. So yeah, just an upgrade from the recursive clusters as well, but a lot of extra attack speed given to this thing. And by the way, not forget to keep nourishing. And then I think once you buy this tower, I mean, you just go
AFK for like, what, like 30 rounds or something like that. So 63 in a second. Let's use the level 3 ability. We're gonna have just close to max mana in a second, so let's nourish this one up. I'm not exactly a Corvus enthusiast, to be honest, but I think that recovery no longer works on nourishment, right? Do we just kind of test it? Let's cast it. Why not? I don't think it does. It seems to be going at about the same rate. Yeah, I don't think it works on nourishment. It was a little bit of the OP aspect of Corvus, which I guess Corvus is still OP, right, if you know how to play him, but I don't think anyone's complaining about having a fix like this. But yeah, let's use the level 10 ability, try and drain out. We're not even getting the chance to drain some mana just because the Bomb Blitz is huge range. It's just popping everything as soon as it appears. So let's just try and get the level 3 off, just do a nourishment again. And while we're watching the Bomb Blitz just destroy all these rounds before we reach free play, I wanted to ask you guys, are you playing Rogue Legends? How is that thing going for you? There have been some recent changes making Rogue Legends a lot more playable than before, actually. And I know that we haven't done a run in a couple of days, which is, I know Rogue Legends is kind of the hot thing, right? You want to be playing it. I actually do want to be playing it myself, but I thought we'd take a little bit of a break from it just for a second, just so you kind of, you know, we see some changes happening in vanilla BT6, because I know that not everyone has bought Rogue Legends and not everyone intends to buy it in the first place. So I want to be doing content for everyone, and we are going to be doing another Rogue Legends run, but I want to just do a couple of videos onto like these new changes, especially because, you know, there's an interesting change happening to the rubber to gold. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a useless change, and it's really not good, but I feel like I have to try it, right? I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but it's like the rubber to gold like removes properties from all balloons for 7 seconds. So that means that your Dark Monkeys can attack DDTs and everything like that. And yeah, that's gonna be one of the videos that we're gonna be making. And let's just kind of come back to the game, see how we're doing. So Corvus is, let me just check the pumps for $48,000. I'm mainly just using the Spirit, by the way, not even using the abilities that much. Alright, so these are the guys that I expect to have leaks from. Well, not this specific one, but like the ones in the future, I guess, deeper into free play. And those are the ones that are going to be triggering our Bomb Blitz passive ability. So here we go, free play. This guy doesn't seem to be needing any support so far. I mean, this is just kind of as good as it was previously, with the exception of the price. But if you were able to afford it like before 81, which you obviously would, then it's pretty much the same tower as it was, just the price decrease. So I guess where you would see this huge buff happening from the recent update would be your bank account, where we now have $55,000. And then I'm still not letting go of the nourishment. We need, well, first off, we need this one, level 15, because it gives more XP per mana. I think it's 4. And then the next level that we're going for is actually going to be 17, I think it was. Yeah, this one, Soul Barrier, can block more balloons from leaking. So everything is going actually amazing so far. I mean, the Bomb Blitz is kind of keeping the game alive, just waiting for Corvus to get the level. And then when the Bomb Blitz stops working versus some of these balloons, that's when Corvus picks it up and we proc the passive. Yeah, but look at this thing. This is like not even close, especially for a tower that costs only about 30,000 nowadays. This is getting closer to like tag zone levels. You're still gonna need the win condition tower, because this is probably not gonna be it unless you like super buff it and everything like that. But you can definitely afford whatever you want once you've got the Bomb Blitz, which is why it's a great tier 5 as a stepping stone into your win condition tower. Alright, so 40 finds, which are the weakness, I guess the weak point of this Bomb Blitz. So far not seeing too many issues with them. I mean, given that this is 86, I wouldn't expect to. And just look at the bank account, guys, 67,000. 40 OMGs this one. I want to watch this round in particular because things are getting a little bit beefier now. I feel like we're not gonna have an issue versus these ones, but in like the 90s, yeah, definitely. So just cleaning out this round, no problem. Alright, so try and get rid of these ones, and then we're gonna have our first DDTs. This guy absolutely sucks versus DDTs, by the way, so we're gonna need to do something about that. Maybe we're playing off of the Soul Barrier, I don't know, but there's like an internal cooldown onto the Bomb Blitz passive anyways, so we have to be really careful about what we're leaking and what we're defending. But we're really close to the level 17, guys, and because there are no 45s on this one, with the exception of the ceramics, I think the Bomb Blitz is going to be able to handle it. And a lot of 45 mobs on this one, definitely feeling the pressure on the Bomb Blitz. But come on, guys, for a tower that costs $30,000, I don't even care at this point. Like a 420 Alchemist is the only thing that we have. Corvus, I guess Corvus' Spirit is doing a little bit of damage, and the other two towers are like a 0-0 Dark Monkey and like a 0-0-0 NG. Absolutely insane. Are these going to be the first balloons that leak? Actually, please be the first balloons that leak. I don't think anyone is going to leak, guys. I hope they do, so we can get the proc on this thing. Oh no, not this one. Maybe the next one though. Okay, this is going to be perfect. So 93, I cast the Nourish. We get level 17. Amazing. Soul Barrier Barrier, now, where is it? Yeah, Soul Barrier can block more balloons from leaking. I'm gonna fill up the mana by using the level 10 ability, and now we wait. No need to use any of Chorus's abilities, although it would be nice if we can get some slow in the balloons and stuff like that. That's always nice, I think. Man, this tower is really exceeding my expectations. I don't know why is it so good. Like, I knew it was good, but like, this thing is defending everything by itself up to 93, and we have $90,000. And I have not been using Corvus abilities, by the way. It's just the Corvus little spirit attacking and just whatever it does. Are we finally gonna leak something? I mean, they're trying to leak so much, but this guy's really good. And look at his range, by the way. I don't think 94 is leaking, guys. Oh, is it? Is it? It's getting close. No, it's not gonna be 94 that leaks. So maybe, nah, never mind. All right, I mean, what's with this tower? Is it gonna leak on 95? Can we stop it from leaking? Like, let's say we do Vision, we do Echo, and then we do Frostbound. This should be able to stop a good chunk of these balloons, right? We seem to be dealing with everything. I don't think that this Frostbound works on DDT. I thought it did. I don't think it does work on DDTs. Maybe the Repel is gonna work on them, but no, it doesn't even matter because we actually did pop 95 as well. All right, that's crazy. Let's use the level 3 ability so we can get our mana back. We're closing in on $100,000. How often do you see this thing? 100k saved up on Chimps mode. I mean, if you're running Corvus for sure, but I don't think we're running Corvus in this game. I think we're running a 025 bomb blitz. Why is this tower so good? I was so pumped of doing the Corvus combo. I was like, I'm gonna lose balloons and I'm just gonna use the Soul Bearer. We're gonna be evaporating entire rounds with one click. But this thing is defending so well by itself that we're just not seeing it, it seems like. I don't know, man. 45 ZMGs, are these gonna be the ones that leak? Please tell me these are the ones that leak 11. But we need to pop the ZMG. There we go. Okay, so set this guy on strong just for a second, and then I'm ready with the Soul Bearer. We need to pop the ZMG layer, by the way. Yes, there we go. Use the Soul Bearer, and yes, finally we get the trigger. That's amazing. Now, should we have done that? That's a separate question, because if we leak 98, then it's the Bomb Blaze passive is probably gonna be, oh, the Soul Bearer is a cooldown as well. Let me just try and speed it up by using the recovery, and then, oh, I don't know about this one though. So we're leaking balloons, but Soul Bearer is on cooldown, so maybe we shouldn't have played 97 like that. Can we actually save this one now? So the most important thing for this one is just to save time so that we can get the Soul Bearer back off cooldown. So I'm gonna buy the new Absolute Zero, which actually does slow down wipe class balloons. I think this is gonna be nice and just kind of stalling balloons for a second. And look at, by the way, the new freeze. It's freezing the balloons all over the screen. That's really cool. So let's dismiss this one. Let's hit the Echo, and let's hit all of these. Oh, we need some mana. Let's actually go like this, hit the Frostbound as well. And now the only thing that I'm looking at is just kind of stalling these small balloons. How's the Soul Bearer looking? Okay, so it's coming off cooldown. That's really nice. All three of Corvus's abilities are about to actually to end it, and I see a lot of ceramics in the back. This is good. Okay, so I think we can actually wipe the round now. So I'm holding the Soul Bearer. This new Absolute Zero, by the way, look at the ridiculous secondary attack. Let's use it, and that's amazing. Yes, we actually make it happen. We stall long enough so we get the second Soul Barrier. By the way, this secondary Absolute Zero attack, absolutely wild. What is it doing? It's like freezing everyone on screen. Oh, can we actually stop those guys? Yes, there we go. That's amazing. All right, then we versus round 100, because none of these guys can actually properly deal with the bad. I mean, maybe you do something like a double Echo into the Overload. Let's try and do that. How much damage does this thing do? I remember doing a lot of damage, but is it gonna be enough? I'm actually gonna do it. Oh, I have no gauge how much damage that thing did. Hopefully enough so that this thing pops. It's not looking like it's gonna pop though. Yeah, we're missing a lot of damage. This guy just sucks versus these big balloons. I mean, we do get the pop eventually, to be fair, but that's way too late of a pop. Okay, let's spend all of our cash. Homeland, get the overclock. Everything is gonna be going onto the Bomb Blitz, and then again, I'm gonna try and do the double Echo explosion. So let's hit start. Make sure we save mana. That's probably the most important thing, and then the level 3 ability is gonna come off cooldown in a second, but let's actually do it like yeah, I overclocked the bomb. All right, I thought for a second I overclocked the Dark Monkey, but we have, well, the Echo is almost coming off cooldown, so let's do it like this. Let's Echo, get some mana back, do the double explosion, and that didn't do a lot of damage. I mean, hopefully the bomb is carrying at this point. We need an early pop, guys. Yes, there we go. Absolute Zero. And is this gonna be fine? Can we just get some mana back? I don't think we can. Both abilities on cooldown. All right, so what do? I mean, we can probably haste it up, or I don't think any of these spells work, guys. I mean, maybe Soul Barrier to end things off. Are we actually gonna end the game like this? Oh no, we're not, because Corvus is a little bit too powerful. But there it is, the new Bomb Blitz, guys. Absolutely insane what this tower can do. And honestly, this thing just surpassed my expectations in how good it is
use in defending. I know that we got the combo off like at least 2 or 3 times, but it just surprised me so much in how much he was able to basically defend for itself in like this small little portion that we were just playing the game in. I mean, if the map was like this long, it would have made no difference to the bomb blitz. And with that being said, that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. So the bomb blitz bomb tier 5 just got another round of buffs, and this tower just keeps getting better. So what's been happening lately is that Ninja Kiwi is just buffing this tower. They kind of tried switching it around. So the first change that happened was a few updates ago, where I think they removed damage and they made it a little bit cheaper, but they added attack speed. And then the update after that, they gave almost all of the damage that they took back. So now in the latest update, what is happening with this tower is just more straight up buffs. There are no nerfs happening to this tower, and it goes something like this. So first off, the extra range upgrade just straight up gives more range, which is always nice to have. And while talking about the extra range, let me just buy it. And this is definitely a lot more range than it used to give. And now with the frags, which we can actually buy, so I'm gonna buy it right now, and I'm gonna tell you what the frags do now. The frags' damage and pierce is now uncapped. So the way that I'm reading that is that they can now get alg buffed, and I think that is just gonna be insane for a tower like the frags, because I think that this is gonna carry over to the other tiers, like for example the recursive clusters and the cluster bombs and everything like that. And this just straight up means that if you get +1 damage from the alchemist and like +3 pierce, that thing is just gonna straight up get carried over to not only the frags, which we have equipped right now, which is the 002, but it's gonna get carried over to the clusters and the secondary and the tertiary clusters, which is just gonna make this tower do a whole lot of damage. And if that wasn't enough, this tower is again getting cheaper. So the tier 5 went from $28,000 to $25,500. So that's just a straight up $2,500 haircut. So that being said, let's try and god boost this tower. The frags are more responsive to alg buffs. We are gonna get Striker Jones, which we already have placed. And wait a minute, are we even dealing with this round? It's round 19. Let me use the level 3 ability, but no, it seems like these guys are gonna leak. Okay, let's do something about this then. Okay, yeah, this is a very annoying map. So let me get an NG like this. So when are we buying only towers that we're gonna be using later on? So I think that this like is gonna be an overclock NG in a second. So let's just place it like this. It's attacking that straight lines. I think it should be fine. Let me just watch the level 3. Wait, what is even happening? Oh my god, it was just RNG. We didn't even need the NG. This guy has like 0 pops, or maybe. Yeah, never mind, we didn't even need it. We just got level 5, so that's really good because we're probably gonna be able to pop these guys, all of them, I hope. Yeah, there we go, and it's only the white balloons now, and I hope we take care of them. We don't have any camo detection, by the way, so, ability? Yes, that was very good. So you know what? Let's actually buy, let's just buy some upgrades. Let me just get like the missile, get some extra attack speed so that at least we can do a little bit more damage to these upcoming rounds. So where do we expect to see these new changes happening? Well, on a round like this, honestly, because we're gonna have some rainbows, and now because the frags can get buffed with extra damage and extra pierce, when these rainbows, and actually on 36 as well, when all of those guys, the huge waves of pink balloons appear, the frags are gonna be a lot stronger versus them, right? So yeah, look at this thing. It is actually cleaning them by itself. It's just like a 022 bomb is doing all this damage. But how are we doing versus these pink balloons? Yeah, definitely look at this thing. So the frags, they should be doing 2 damage a pop now, which is I guess a lot more than well, it's only 1 damage that they used to do, but again, this 2 damage is not, because when you take into account the pierce, extra pierce that they get from the alchemist, it's really not a small deal. Okay, so now this round is really important because we are gonna have our last upgrade before the Moab appears, because these guys are not gonna rotate any time. So we can get the clusters, but the question is, can we get the recursive? Because if we can get the recursive, we're just probably guaranteed to beat the Moab. So let me just watch the cash on this round, and there we go, we bought it. Alright, so round 40 coming out in a second. This should not be a problem for it, especially because we have the middle crosspat, and this middle crosspat is a little bit better versus Moab class balloons than the top one. So I don't think that this should be a problem, and especially with the extra damage on the frags, these guys, oh my lord, they just disappeared. That was the entire wave of ceramics, guys. Why is this tower hitting so hard nowadays? I have no idea. Okay, was it always this good? I don't know, because I know that it was changed, and they were like really improving it throughout the, I guess, the updates, but this thing is just hitting a little bit harder than usual, I feel like, and that might be due to these new buffs actually in the frags. Probably have to go for the middle crosspat because it's probably better with all of these buffs and everything like that. And I really love it about this tower that it can just hold its own. So if you're playing a single track map, like this thing is probably your go-to strategy that's gonna beat almost all of them. So let's watch 46 for example. 45 ceramics, not even an issue. I didn't even think that it was gonna be an issue, but let's just watch 46 and then 47 with the small ceramics. Yeah, these guys are not making it like past this first bend where my mouse is. Like, it's just attacking so fast, and it's just destroying everything. And then just take a look at the new price on the bomb list, $27,500. That is ridiculously cheap. And when I say ridiculously cheap, I mean we're gonna have this thing in like the next few rounds where we're in the 50s, and this thing is defending by itself. I don't think that the map length matters that much, because once we got the 024 going, like nothing has even made it past like this first bend, and maybe like up here to where the glass panel ends. Like that's probably the farthest that I've seen balloons go. I don't know, guys. I really hope that you use this tower as well, because this
this is such an amazing tower. It's so good and it's so strong, but I don't think we're barely gonna miss this window, are we? Because it's gonna close. We have 26.5 and it's 27.5. Oh my god, $700 away. Okay, so we missed it by only $700, so that means that we're gonna have to wait into the 60s before we can buy the bomb blitz. There we go. We have the money for a bomb blitz. We've actually had it for a while because this thing's 27.5 and we're at 32.5, so yeah, but because of these glass panels closing in. But there we go. We get the bomb blitz, and one of the benefits to the bomb blitz, by the way, is that all these tertiary explosions, so the clusters, the recursive clusters, happen on every single shot, right? So if this frag buffing thingy, if it goes onto the, I know it probably goes to the secondary clusters, right? But if it goes to the tertiary clusters as well, this is just taking the tower to new levels. Like I'm really just, that was by the way the first round of 63. If you guys saw that, if not, let me just try to slow it down so that you see how fast this thing evaporates. So it should appear any second now. Yeah, there we go. That's the second wave of ceramics, and that is gone. Alright, so I know I said I was gonna buy an overclock, but I don't think I'm gonna keep that promise. At least not yet. The overclock is like a super cheap way to get a lot of extra DPS, but the buff that we got was the buff to the frags, and their damage appears getting uncapped. And the way that you make full use of that is by buying the call to arms in the homeland. So let's go for the call to arms in homeland. Let's guarantee those purchases first, and then if we have some money left over, we're gonna get the overclock NG. And I also want to be buying the glue storm actually, because it amplifies the damage in the blue stake, and that's just such a nice tower to combo with this thing. So we have so many things to buy, and I really cannot wait for free play because this thing does not seem to be budging pre-free play actually. Okay, so just watch all these BFBs to round 77, and then I will show you guys. Let me just see if we can get the money for, yeah, there we go. We bought the call to arms, but this was just like a couple of BFBs behind each other around 77, and this is a bunch of BFBs behind each other around 81, and it is almost exactly the same thing. Almost, not exactly, but you can see that these guys are making it a little bit further. But come on guys, this thing is owning them. Let's watch a couple of 45 BFBs on 82, so they're gonna go behind these normal ones. Yeah, look at this thing. So the ceramics are actually the ones that are leaking, which is kind of expected, but we can improve the consistency by doing two things. Number one is by getting an overclock, and number two is just by using some abilities, right? For example, the call to arms, but let's chill on that for now. All right, so we get the money for the homeland, so let's buy it, and this is the tower that I was looking for. This is what we need, guys. Okay, so we have some 45 mobs incoming. Do is the stun ability on this thing? Is it gonna be able to handle them? I hope it is. Let me just not click anything. These guys are making it pretty far. Are we? Oh no, wait a minute. That's a full ceramic. Are we even dealing with that guy? Can we stop it somehow? Like maybe an ice tower at the back? Oh no, never mind. The Caltrops defended it. But yeah, oh my god, that was a little bit scary. Maybe it's time for the abilities. Let's use the homeland for the first time. This is where the tower is gonna go ham. So these guys are gonna disappear for sure. And now DTs, we know for a fact that are gonna be a little bit of an issue just because of how fast they are, right? So it's only like 3 DTs on this one, so this shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, those guys upcoming, they are definitely gonna be a problem. And also want to be buying some support towers because you don't exactly play BTD6 like this. Like you don't just, you know, buy some DPS towers and let them do their thing and just, you know, leave them to hold on for as long as they can. Like you buy some towers to support. So in the spirit of supporting them, I guess let's just use the homeland ability. Let's just get these 45 mobs over. We're gonna have some ZOGs at the back. Now I know it's only round 93, but this round can actually tell us a lot about how we're sitting with 45 balloons and DDTs. So the 45s, we know that we have a problem with them, especially the small ones. Like the big ones start getting popped. But look at this thing, we're having a DDT problem. These guys are fully leaking. Like that was a full DDT almost leaked. Okay, so let's go like this. Let me use the homeland. I want to use it a little bit earlier, so that I know that the homeland is going to help this thing defend these guys, but I want to use it a little bit earlier so we get it for 94. And I guess 94 is one of those free rounds because there are no 45 balloons on this one, so I think that the bomb blitz by itself is going to be able to defend it, but I think it's time for us to use the homeland. Yeah, I'm definitely going to use the homeland onto these UMGs, so things are definitely getting a little bit closer, guys. Let's get the overclock, and this is going to be around 95. I actually don't think that we maybe should have used the homeland a little bit earlier on the previous round because I don't think it's coming off. Oh, wait a minute. Does the overclock work on a tower that is blocked? Let me just click. Okay, so I think that, so you get the option of clicking on it, but can you actually use it like so for the DTs? No, I cannot use it. No, you cannot overclock them. You only get the option. Oh my god, that's so ridiculous. No, I didn't know that. Oh my god, we have a huge problem. So I bought the Sabo and we used the homeland a little bit late on 94, so I'm not exactly sure it's gonna come off. Yeah, it's not coming off cooldown. Okay, so let's just try and survive. And the Sabo did buy us enough time so we can have the homeland, but now I'm trying to greed out a little bit, guys. I don't want to use the homeland actually. I want to save it for the next one. And is that a good idea? No, that's not a good idea. We should use it right now. Okay, so let's use the homeland. Let's get this round over. We know for a fact that we're going to deal with this round, but 96 is where the trouble is starting for us. Okay, so we might have a little bit of an issue. All our abilities are on cooldown and we have some 45 balloons. So I'm going to use Striker Jones's level 10 ability, which when he reaches level 20, it gives double damage to all bombs, which includes the bomb blitz. And this is actually really nice because this tower just goes ham. But the problem with this ability is two things. Number one is it lasts for a very short amount of time, and number 2 is that it has a ridiculously long cooldown. Like, just take a look at the cooldown, and fast forwarding, by the way, this is 3x speed, and this cooldown is just not going, guys. It's just staying where it was. And now the other problem is just all of these guys, all these beefy balloons. So let me use the Sabo, and let's just try and defeat this thing with the level 3 Striker Jones ability. We are hopefully gonna get the Sabo for 98, but we need to defeat this one as well. So I think that's gonna be 96. There we go, round 98, and the window closed on us, so we cannot interact with any of these towers at the bottom, and we're gonna have a bunch of 45 balloons. So let me just start this thing off by using all of our abilities as soon as possible so that we get at least some of them for round 99. Let's just get this thing going very slowly on the road. So ideally you want to deal with this round very slowly. You want to be popping the 45 balloons actually first, and then the ZOMGs, and I think that there's a way for this to happen because the Bomb Blitz is not exactly good versus big balloons, but we need to keep these guys stunned and in place with the level 3 Striker Jones ability and the Relentless Goo, and so far so good. I don't want to jinx it, we do have all abilities, but I'm just trying to kind of test the waters. So let's try to see how far we're going to go with only using the level 3 Striker Jones ability, and honestly, most of the 45 balloons are done, so this is like not even bad that it's currently happening. So I think the majority of the 45 balloons are done, and we do have the Sabo, so I'm just kind of trying to save the Sabo actually for the next one. So I'm using the ability, and the ZOMGs are, I'm not sure if all of them are intact, but a good portion of them are. So far so good, guys. This is actually ridiculous how good this round is going. I only see 2 ZOMGs. These guys are popping very slowly, and I think I don't want to say that we have this thing because the ZOMGs just popped, but this is going so well. It's going actually ridiculously well. Oh my god, we defended the entire round by just using the level 3 Striker Jones ability. That's probably the best case scenario, because what we can do for this one is we can just use the Sabo and then probably use what? Let's try and get away with only the level 3 Striker Jones ability as well, and we save the level 10 and the Homeland for round 100, and there we go. And now the big boy. Let's use both of these guys together, both the level 10, actually it's the level 20 Striker Jones ability and the Homeland, and I really wish I could click onto this guy just so I can see his pops. But yeah, the damage, like, it's really trying. You guys can see the explosions, all these small explosions just going to town onto a bad balloon, but it just has a problem, and the problem is that it's just really not doing well versus bad balloons, and the bad balloon is out of range. We did a decent amount of damage to it, to be fair, but we are just gonna need to just do something else to get some extra damage going on screen. And I think I have an idea. What if we went for a glue storm? How much of a difference is a glue storm gonna make? So all these clusters are gonna get increased damage, so let's just wait for a second for the glue storm to come off cooldown, and let's use all of these guys together like the same time, and let's see how much of a difference this is gonna make. I think it is gonna make a difference, but I'm not sure how much. Like, is the bad layer gonna pop? Oh, actually the bad layer popped. Okay, that's very good. We're making some progress actually. Yeah, this is not gonna work. This thing just sucks versus bad balloons. It does not have the damage, so let me just fix this thing by using this, just the spike storms. Let's use both of these abilities, so the bad balloons should pop pretty early actually in comparison to the last time, and there we go. That's a decent spot actually for the pop. The DTs are gone instantly, obviously, with all these abilities active, and there we go. We defeated Chimps mode, but let's actually go into free play and see how far this thing can go. So keep in mind, this is still a tier 5 tower that costs $27,500, so this is not supposed to be, you know, doing wonders, but it is actually getting a decent amount of buffs. Okay, so let's actually play this thing round by round. So we have some DDTs. Let me slow down the DDTs with the Bloom Sabo, and let me just be ready with these spike storms, because I feel like the spike storms are gonna be, you know, the ones that are gonna be defeating the DDTs at least, because they're just simply too fast for it now. And yeah, there we go. It's still not enough. Okay, let me use the Homeland then, because these DDTs are still coming out, and we're gonna need to take a break from DDTs actually, so we can get the abilities back. Is that gonna happen anytime soon? I'm using the stun ability. We're gonna have the level 20 as well. No, these guys are 45. I should use the level 20 as well, guys, right? Let's just use it. Let's just get this round over with. Let's stun these guys, and there we go, round 103. Like, we know this thing is bad versus bad balloons, but it's like 45 ZMGs are not far off of that, especially when these guys are ramping up their HP. So I think the spike storms are still gonna have to go to town. So let me use one of these guys at least to just keep these balloons stunned. And the Homeland just came off cooldown, so is the Homeland gonna allow us to defeat this thing? I am not exactly sure, guys. There's so many 45 balloons, it might as well just be enough. I think it might as well just be, just for this round, because 106 might defeat us because it's a bunch of DDs. And look at this thing go. It's round 104. So do we have what it takes for 104? I'm not exactly sure. Let me buy the glue strike, and I'm just using these abilities as they come off cooldown. So let's just keep using the stun and everything, and we're gonna have some spike storms items incoming, so I'm going to use the Spike Storm. We're going to have the Glue Strike in a second, so let's use it. And these 45s, they're really not friendly to us, guys. We are just struggling so much versus 45 balloons. It's actually crazy. Is this going to be the last round for us? I think it is. So yeah, Bomb Blitz, a solid tower. It just keeps getting better. The save up is really nice. It's really, you know, kind of easy to get into a tower, and I really hope you guys give it a shot if you haven't. But that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.
This tower is getting yet another buff, and I cannot believe what Ninja Kiwi has been doing with the Bomb Blitz in the past few updates, because it's only been buff after buff. And again, I'm not sure if the tower was maybe a little bit underappreciated by the community. Maybe the tower was actually that weak and it deserved all these buffs. But nevertheless, the Bomb Blitz has gone through some serious changes in the past few updates, so let me kind of contextualize to you guys what has been happening and then what is the latest change to this tower. So I guess these more serious changes started in update 42, where the price got dropped from 35 to 28,000. That's a serious price reduction, but also the damage got cut in half from 63, but also the attack cooldown got reduced from 1.5 seconds to 1 second. And remember that number of 1.5 seconds because it's gonna be important in a little bit. Now, after these changes, apparently the damage was way too low, so in update 43 they increased the damage from 3 to 5. So essentially they almost gave it back all the damage, but it kept the attack speed. And then in the next update they reduced the price even further and just straight up gave it a little bit extra range. And if that wasn't enough, in this update, which is update 46, we're getting another attack cooldown decrease, which is now going from 1 second to 0.75 seconds. And if you guys, you know, remember that number of 1.5 seconds, you're gonna realize that this tower's attack speed got cut in half, its damage is about the same, and I don't know what's happening. The price is like $10,000 cheaper. Like, what is happening with this tower? Yeah, and just the second that you see balloons that are a little bit faster, if you don't go for the mill crosspad, this thing actually starts crumbling. So let me try and fix that by doing what? Twin guns. I think I should be fine for the next couple of rounds. Let me get the bigger bombs, and yes, we are actually going for the top crosspad. So previously the better crosspad used to be, and I say previously because I'm not exactly sure if that's the case yet. We're gonna try it in this video, but as far as I can remember, the better crosspad, if you're going for the Bomb Blitz, used to be the middle one. Now this is because if you get the extra attack speed, the Bomb Blitz by itself used to do a lot of damage, and that was beneficial for it, right? He was able to dish out all this damage pretty fast. Now since we get a lot of extra attack speed, like this guy's attack speed has been literally cut in half just by Ninja Kiwi themselves. Okay, so let's go for the heavy bomb. So we got the 203, which is a really strong upgrade by itself, and actually when you go for the top crosspad in combination with the Bomb Blitz, is something interesting that happens. The top crosspad adds a lot of extra pierce and it adds +1 damage, but because of the way these explosions work, the clusters create secondary explosions, and then the recursive cluster creates tertiary explosions, and all of those explosions benefit from the +1 damage and the additional pierce that you get from the top crossbow, which is really nice. And now in the latest update, we actually got a lot of extra pierce onto the bigger and the heavy bombs upgrade. So yeah, just even more reasons to go for the 205 bomb blitz, or at least give it a chance, right? Because this used to be the inferior crosspad, so let's see if that's the case still. I do have a lot of experience, by the way, with the middle crosspad, the 025, so I think I'm gonna be able to tell if it's worse or better than the 025. Oh yeah, definitely. So something that I can say about the 203 is that this guy is inheriting the problems. Well, it still has the problems that he used to have, and that is the lack of attack speed. And so unless you're doing, like, this thing packs a punch, but it's delivering the punch pretty slowly, so you're gonna need a lot of extra attack speed really fast. So let me get the recursive cluster, and then the next one is just straight up gonna have to be a Jungle Jones village. We're gonna have to rely on the sub for a little while for camo detection, so let me go like this, and then the alchemist is at, I think I'm gonna keep it as a 300 for now, and let me get the jungle drums and hope that this is gonna be enough versus the Moab, because if it's not, like, we don't have a lot of money to spend. As you guys can see, it's gonna be about what, $700. Yeah, unless this guy like beats the Moab by himself, it's not gonna be looking good. So I'm gonna use the level 3 ability. Oh yeah, oh my god, those explosions are insane. You guys see that? I'm pretty sure that the entire wave of ceramics actually got demolished by the clusters and not the primary attack, which is just insane. Shows you how much damage these guys can do. But yeah, I forgot how strong the 204 is. Yeah, this thing just really packs a punch, doesn't it? Alright, so let's first off do a couple of things. First off, 400 on the alchemist. This is kind of a slow-ish attacking tower, so I'm gonna keep it as a 400 for now, and then I'm gonna get the mill crosspad. But for now, let's buy the primary training as well. And then, you know what, I probably should have went for something like a discount onto this village before buying a couple of these other stuff, but that's completely fine. So let's go for a second village as well. This one is gonna be a mill crosspad village for the Call to Arms later down the line. And now with all this extra attack speed and extra range, let's see how this guy's doing. Oh, look at the range. Look at the range and how big it is. And actually, when you go for the bomb blitz, it becomes even bigger, just because, well, Ninja Kiwi decided to buff it for some reason. They thought this wasn't enough. They're like, nope, give it a little bit more. Alright, so let's watch 49. I don't think the 49 is gonna be an issue because, well, again, it's just small balloons, but the 024 does actually do a little bit better versus Moab class balloons than the 204. So I guess this dynamic between the 204 and the 024 is just exactly as it was, but I'm really curious how this is gonna go into the bomb blitz. And And I'm just wondering if there's like a difference if the 025 is actually gonna be the weaker crosspad nowadays. By the way, look at this price tag, guys, 27.5. Like, this thing has become so cheap that you can probably afford it at this rate. I guess we even have it before 63, and then if you buy it before 63, I don't think that this thing loses like I don't know, like before free play when we buy it, honestly. But let's just see how we do versus Moab class balloons, because this is really important, right? So you can see the lack of attack speed. So that was 2 Moabs, and then the second Moab like made it all the way up here next to the right village. And now with 3 Moabs, let's actually see how the lack of attack speed is gonna handle everything. So I guess these guys are kind of separated, so there is a little bit of time to deal with them. But if they're a little bit more clumped up, I don't know, it's gonna get interesting. Let's watch 54. So 54 so far so good. Small balloons have never been an issue for this tower, so we're not even gonna be oh, and I say that and I can see some small balloons leaking, but I actually think they're leaking due to the lack of attack speed, honestly, and not the lack of damage. Yeah, just mauling these guys. Round 56 is gonna have one more up in the end, but 57 and 58 are gonna be interesting. So 57 is 2i2 Moabs, but these guys are next to each other, so I actually don't even think that these guys are gonna be a problem. Nope, never mind. And then 58 has like 5 Moabs in total, but they are super separated, so there's a lot of time in between these Moabs. I'm just gonna play it a little bit faster so you guys can see, but yeah, look at this thing. So it has a lot of time to deal with these Moabs is what I'm saying, so you don't actually feel the lack of attack speed. And look at this thing, we're almost there, guys. This is so crazy. Like, I'm not used to buying this tower in like the 50s. Round 59, we have the money to afford it, and you know what, if I buy this thing, like, we're not losing up until the 80s, I'm pretty sure. Yes, we get the bomb blitz. This is so crazy. Round 59 with everything, and look at how fast it's attacking now. Keep in mind, we're giving it a lot of extra attack speed buffs, like for example Striker Jones and the Alchemist in the village. This is 63, by the way. You guys know what's gonna be happening because the 204 by itself demolishes 63, so this guy is just like even that much stronger. Well, let's not miss it, you know. The way that it goes with these clusters, like, you blink and you miss it. Like, even the tertiary clusters can deal with like an entire wave of these ceramics. So yeah, oh, there was a wave of ceramics if you guys saw that one. But yeah, the damage of this guy is insane, and as you guys can see, I mean, you can definitely feel it versus these guys. And the problem that we're gonna have in the ultra late game is gonna be, well, exactly these guys that you guys are looking at. Is gonna be the 45 Moabs, and basically everything 45, because one of the things that Ninja Kiwi did is they took away this guy's bonus damage to 45 balloons, and that might come to bite us. Alright, so let's watch this one, and then we need to buy up some towers because we are saving a little bit of cash and there's a lot of things to buy. So this is 75, no issues, especially because it has a lot of piercing. That's the thing that we need to be on the lookout for. I don't think this tower is gonna get overwhelmed like ever until the rest of the game, but if balloons are leaking, it's not gonna be because it's a pierce overload, it's because it's just straight up missing damage. So let me just actually kind of do a couple of things. First off, I want to find the spot for this glue, so it's in the range of both discounts, but it's also outside the range of the Alchemist. So I think it's gonna be like this. Is gonna be a relentless glue later down the line, but let's just mark its spot. And then I also want to buy an overclock NG, which, look at this thing, this is absolutely perfect in the range of both discounts, exactly as you want to see it. So let me just buy the overclock now. Let's watch these 5 BFBs, and it's gonna go without any issues, I'm pretty sure. So I think we can just move on to free play. Yeah, look at this thing. The second that we see something that's fortified and the lack of bonus fortified damage, which Ninja Kiwi removed, this is exactly what's happening. It's 82, and this thing is already, I don't want to say leaking, but balloons are making a little bit further for sure. Yeah, you can already tell 45 balloons are going to be an absolute menace for this tower, and this goes for like the almost entirety of the 90s. So let's get him a little bit of help. Let's bring him some buddies. So first off, primary mentoring, a little extra range is going to be super nice. And then let's not forget to buy the call to arms. We're going to be left with about $9,000, but that's fine because we are going to be making a decent amount of money in the upcoming rounds, and I think it's going to be about time that we start overclocking it. Oh, actually 85, a couple of ZOMGs. Yeah, this thing also is not exactly that good versus like these beefy big boys single target damage. So let me just actually overclock them for the first time. Let's see if we can deal with these guys. It seems to be dealing with them for sure. Yeah, there we go. Look at these explosions, by the way. Okay, you know what? Let me actually turn out these explosions a little bit because it is getting a little bit wild out there. So let's go to 60, I guess, with these effects. That's going to be fine. And now look at this thing. So with a little bit of extra help through the relentless glue, it is dealing with 45 balloons. It seems like I do want to be buying a couple of other things. Maybe one of the, like these cheesy-ish towers that I wanted to get. Oh, look at this thing. It's in the range of the Alchemist, so I don't want to have it like this. But I was thinking of buying a balloon impact actually, which just like stuns the balloons for a millisecond. I think that's gonna be fun. Okay, let's go all out on this one. So let's do the overclock and the call to arms. So these are a lot of, you know, a lot of beefy boys, but it seems to be melting them. It looks like. Oh, look at how cool it looks like. I've never seen the explosions be like this small, so it's kind of interesting to just see these balloons kind of walk into this. It reminds me a little bit of a foam for some reason. I don't know why. We also got Striker Jones level 18, which means we get an additional 10% attack speed. That's really nice. And yeah, it's just gonna be the 90s, guys. And if this thing survives, I'm pretty sure. All right, so let's watch how we do versus the 80s. Small, fast balloons.
And Moab class balloons, absolute menace for this tower. Does it actually melt them? Yes, it does. It was only 3 though. So let's prepare for the other ones that are going to be upcoming on the 93 and 95. And obviously the first thing that we're going to do is, can I fit like a Sabo Ninja in the range of both discounts? It doesn't look like it, so maybe just have it like this, I guess. Look at this thing. Everything that's non-fortified, like I'm not even buffing it, it's probably going to deal with everything by itself just because of how good it is versus non-fortified balloons. And this was the issue of the 025 as well, by the way. These guys, however, fortified Moabs, I think we're going to have to overclock because they are followed by a bunch of ZOMGs. So I'm just going to overclock, just play it safe. Let's just deal with these guys and then think about what else we want to buy. You know, a tower that goes really well is something like a Glue Storm, because I'm pretty sure it also amplifies the damage from the secondary and tertiary explosion. So that's going to be a lot of extra damage. So might as well buy that thing. And also if we have it like this towards the back, if any of these small ceramics leak, then this guy is just going to be able to stop them. So that's where we're going to go for the bottom crossbow, right? Let's get ready for these deities. I'm going to use the Sabo onto these guys and let's overclock. That should be, yeah, that's short work for this guy, but a bunch of 45 BFB. So let's see how we do versus that one, and then we're gonna have some money for the Glue Storm in a second. So let's just watch this one. Yeah, absolutely no problem so far, guys. This is actually really good so far. I'm kind of impressed by this tower. I mean, it's not like the 025 would have leaked with the same buffs, but I don't know. I guess I've always had like a little bit of a soft spot for the 204 and the 205, so I might be a little bit biased. I like this crossbat a little bit more than the 024 and the 025. Oh, let's actually overclock. Let's not miss this one. And do we need anything else besides the overclock? Because I would rather save all the abilities for 95, because that might be a tricky one. And it looks like, oh, look at this thing. Just look at the pierce and the damage go through all these guys. That's really good. Yes, the extra attack speed is actually doing it. That's really nice. All right, so I guess 96, 98 with all those 45 balloons are going to be a question mark for this tower. But let's use the Sabo. And is it actually going to beat 95 without any buff? So I'm not clicking any buttons besides the Sabo. Let's see how we're going to do. This is actually going to be pretty surprising, because if it's able to hold with only the Reluctance Glue helping, I guess that's going to be progress, right? Thanks to this new attack speed. You know what? So far, it's so good. I mean, the Sabo has expired, so it's just going to be on the explosions. It dealt with the deities. That is actually so good. Wow, it's actually really good for this tower. What is happening? I mean, I'm not clicking any buttons. Like, do I just leave it attacking like this? Like, what's the plan with this one? Like, I can vividly remember I played Covered Garden. I went for the 025 crossbat. I had Striker Jones and all these buffs that you guys are seeing. I even had the Homeland, by the way, in that run. And it was, I want to say that like the Blitz were making it a little bit farther than this one, I want to say. But yeah, it looks like this extra attack speed, and maybe we combined it good. Like, maybe we're onto something with the 205 crossbat. Let's see how we do versus these ZOMGs. But yeah, so much AoE, and the fact that it's only targeting the first balloon doesn't matter because of all this pierce that it has. So everyone is essentially getting damaged. Like, you're not missing out on the damage that needs to be done. And look at this thing. It actually took down 96 by itself. All right, but 97, there's no way it takes down 97, right? Okay, let's not click any buttons. I have a feeling that these guys are just gonna walk out, but let's not click any buttons, and if necessary we can just use the level 3 Striker Jones ability. But it actually did pop the ZOMG. It's a little bit surprising, but no, the Moabs do leak. Alright, so let's help it out. Well, I guess let's I think we're gonna use the Striker Jones level 3 ability, and we're gonna combine it with the overclock, which is gonna come off cooldown for 98, I'm pretty sure. So let's just go like this. A lot of extra damage. How much of a difference is this gonna make? Are we gonna hold? Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, so one of the ZOMGs already popped. The second one is about to pop, and yeah, that's gonna be absolutely no issues. And the overclock is gonna come off cooldown as well for 98, so that's perfect because we need all the abilities for this one. And here's what I know for a fact: the previous one, the 025 from I guess the last update, would have absolutely lost on 98 without using any abilities or any buffs. So the question is, does this guy beat it without us doing anything? So the first run of this round is just gonna be me not using any abilities. So let's just watch how it does. Let's just kind of, you know, pay attention to how it deals with these balloons, especially the 45 ones and the small balloons like the ceramics. So far it's looking like this guy is gonna leak as well, although yeah, it's kind of doing a decent amount of damage. I can even see the pierce might be getting overloaded a little bit actually. All right, let's also get ready for round 100, by the way. So let me buy the first strike and let's actually get some stuns going. And I think I'm only gonna do the overclock plus the glue storm because I want to use it once. So the glue storm is active. You can't see it, by the way, because the effects have been turned down. But let's see how much of a difference the overclock, the level 3 Striker Jones ability, and the glue storm are gonna make versus this round. And it looks like it's making all the difference, guys. Like, these balloons are not making it all the way to the Alchemist, it seems like. We're gonna get another stun going, but the ZOMGs are already down. Yeah, that's really good how good this tower is. That's insane. Wow, it actually dealt with the entirety of 98 with like 3 level 3 abilities, an overclock and a glue storm. That is really, really good. I'm super impressed by this tower, and I'm loving every second of these buffs because this is a super, I guess it's like a super underused tower. I guess Ninja Kiwi thought that it deserved all of these buffs, so you know what, I'm here for it. Alright, so 99, we saved the sample for this one. I'm not gonna be clicking any buttons. I don't think I think we can actually
deal with all these 45 DDTs? Yes, it is actually dealing with all of them. And then around 100, we do get a first strike. Not sure if this is going to be enough, but let's kind of watch the damage into this guy. So I think we have to go all out on this one. So let's go like this. Let's use the everything. So call to arms, use the glue storm as well. And look at this thing. Oh, I forgot the level 20 Striker Jones ability, by the way. And look at the damage go. The damage is just skyrocketing on the side. Yeah, the extra, just 0.25 second attack speed reduction is all it takes, guys. This tower is so good. Are we gonna get an ability, by the way? Because if it continues like this, we might lose. Or are we gonna lose? Nope, never mind. Never mind. Super happy about this one. Maybe there's a level of future, guys, for the 205. Is it the Barry Crosspath now? I don't know, but I want to hear what you guys think. Have you guys played this one, and what do you guys think is the Barry Crosspath? That's gonna be it for this one, though. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.